What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 9 Hectoliters Chapter 211 Modern Architecture in the City. The young man stepped back in fright. Who are you and how do you know me? Who am I to forget about me so quickly? After Fat Tiger recalled it carefully, his face was full of astonishment and he said in surprise. You are the one from the ninja world, that, senior. How did you get here, senior? Qixing's face is full of smiles. Didn't you bring me here? Look, Qixing said, pointing his finger at the kunai that was still emitting a faint light.
Senior, spare your life. Although I don't know what enmity we have, I will admit my mistake first. Besides, nearly 10 years have passed. There is no need to kill them all and chase them to the deserted city.
And in my current situation, I'm about to burp without you needing to do anything. Hey, could it be that the flow of time in these two worlds is different? System, this is our business. Ding, host, this is an intermediate world, and it will soon be promoted to an advanced world. The gap in time flow speed will naturally become larger and larger. According to system detection, the time ratio between the two at this time is about 1:30, and this data is still changing. Close black lens bracket. This is also the reason why people in the intermediate world or the advanced world are much stronger than those in the small world. Close black lens bracket. While Qixing was talking to the system, Fat Tiger's eyes widened. He discovered that the explosion of the third-level explosive talisman was really powerful, but no matter how powerful it was, the aftermath of the explosion could not be transmitted to the two of them. At this moment, Fat Tiger only felt that there was a void in front of him, swallowing up the terrifying explosion. At this time, Fat Tiger looked at Qixing in front of him with a cute expression on his face. It seemed like he wanted to say something, but he didn't dare to say anything. Qixing ignored Fat Hu and just looked forward. The huge explosion smoke had disappeared, and the old man was staring at everything in front of him in stunned silence. I was shocked. This guy raised his hand and extinguished the flames of the third-level fire talisman. This guy, at least, exists in the later stages of 6 paths. Thinking of this, the old man secretly cursed his bad luck. Damn it, the wind is blowing hard, retreat. The old man threw a green smoke bomb in his hand at his feet, and then disappeared into the smoke. Apparently the old man saw the situation was bad and ran away. But Qixing's spiritual consciousness is so strong, how could he allow this guy to escape? He picked up the golden kunai on the side and threw it out. The kunai was in front of him 1 second, and then penetrated the space and appeared directly in the next second. Behind the old man thousands of meters away, there was a crisp sound. The dagger penetrated through the old man's vest, and the old man fell to the ground. Qixing then made a move, and a soul body flew directly back to Qixing's hand. Obviously, this spiritual commander could be of great use here. When Fat Tiger saw the old man dying, he showed infinite desire. Okay, Fat Tiger, all the old man's things belong to you, so now tell me something about this world.
At this time, the excited Fat Tiger came back to his senses, always thinking that he was still dreaming. He pinched his fat face casually, only to feel pain.
After confirming the truth, Fat Tiger rushed to the old man's body, stripped off all the valuables on the old man's body, and then quickly headed in the other direction with Qixing. Senior, please come with me. Let's talk as we walk.
As he said that, the two figures disappeared on the spot. At this time, in a dense forest, 2 middle-aged men were planning something. Suddenly, the jade pendant around one man's waist broke into pieces, and the man stood up in shock. Impossible. With the strength of old Ghost Chi, how could he die without walking sideways in this wilderness? And he didn't send back any information before his death. This is not like his style at all. Advertisement. What's the difference? If he is killed instantly, everything will make sense. Instant kill. This is even more impossible. I can count the number of people in the kingdom of Zan who can instantly kill Qi Laoge on one hand. They are not at the peak of 6 paths, or even pseudo-immortals. Who would be so bored as to come here to kill them? Personal.
Unless word gets out that we have found the entrance to the Forbidden Land. Damn, what the hell are you looking at? You suspect that I have leaked information about the Forbidden Area. Damn it. Am I that kind of person? Besides, I'm with you every G day, eating and sleeping, and we've never been apart from each other. Okay, I didn't doubt you, then tell me what to do now. What else can we do? Tomorrow is the time when the entrance to the Forbidden Area is at its weakest. If you miss it, you will have to wait another 5 years. Do you want to wait? Okay, just the two of us. Let's go. At this time, the scene changed, and on the other side, Fat Tiger and Qixing were walking through the edge of a forest. Sir, this pure land world is very big. I don't know what you want to know. Well, I want to know where the soul power is the most lush. This, sir, is of course the castle guard's mansion. The soul power of the he in the lord's mansion is the richest. I heard that the soul power there has been turned into soul power crystals. Oh, that's really good. Tell me what the situation is like in this city guarding the city. Hearing this, Fat Tiger said seriously, Sir, the strength of the city guard of this deserted city has reached the peak of the 6 paths level, maybe the pseudo-immortal level, and his strength can also be ranked among the top 3 among the 9 major cities in the kingdom of Zan. But the most terrifying thing is not the strength of this city guard. After all, there are 3 people in this city who can compare with the city guard. The main reason is that the backstage of this city guard is too strong. I heard that his backstage is the high-level officials of Xuanji Kingdom, but like me little characters have no way to prove it. By the way, Fat Tiger, show me the light gate you use. Senior, I handed it over. It belongs to Master Transcendent, how dare I occupy it for a long time. But that thing is easy to get. As long as you accept the alien mission issued by the city guard, you can get a light door like that. Only this kind of mercenary token can accept the mission and open the light door. Let's go, my lord, I'll take you to have a look. As they said that, the two of them quickened their steps. In half an hour, Fat Tiger and Qixing arrived at the gate of Wangcheng. Just arrived at the city gate, Qixing felt an ancient momentum coming towards him. The city gate was about 10 meters high, and the city wall was more than 20 meters high. Although it was dilapidated, it was slightly majestic. The entire wall was made of hard granite, Inta, although already blurry. But when Qixing looked into the city, he was confused for the first time. He thought he was in a fantasy world again. After taking a closer look, I realized that there was something else going on inside. I saw many high-rise buildings, mostly in modern style. There are countless 8-gate buildings in the city, but the only thing that remains unchanged is that none of these buildings are higher than 9 stories. Qixing was also curious about what kind of people lived here. Fat Hu took out the token and waved it in front of the city guard, and the two of them entered the deserted city easily. As soon as he entered here, Qixing felt that his soul had been sublimated. This place was so suitable for soul cultivation, because the air here is filled with endless soul laws. No wonder it can easily produce soul power crystals. Chapter 212 The Pattern of the Pure Land, 5 Nations Mission Hall. At this time, Fat Tiger led Qixing into the outskirts of the deserted city. Qixing glanced at it and was inexplicably surprised.
There were half humans and half animals on the streets, orcs carrying giant axes, as well as short dwarves covered in scales, and some with normal body shapes.
Human beings, but those guys looked extremely weak. Qixing suspected that these guys' bodies were extremely fragile. Sure enough, Fat Tiger answered, answering Qixing's question, Senior, this is a pure land world. Although the deserted city is at the edge of the world, because the Kingdom of Zan has set up a 9-palace formation, the soul powers of the 9 cities are connected, and competitions are held every year. The intensity of the soul power will be determined according to the order of ranking.
Last year, Wangcheng's city guard won 4th place in the 9 cities battle, so Wangcheng's soul power reached level 4. This also attracted many strong men to defect to the city guard. While having protection, they could also absorb this rich soul power to increase their strength. By the way, where did you pick up Shinigami's mission?
Oh, sir, come with me. In front of you is the 5 Kingdoms Tower Hall of the 5 major nations. This was jointly built by the 5 countries of the Pure Land world. It is said that the things on it are sealed, but the details are unknown. Sir, look at the 5 statues in front of you. They represent the monarchs of the 5 major countries. They are Open Black Lens Bracket the Kingdom of Zan, Yangshen, Temple of Fire. He is the symbol of fraternity. It is also the pillar of the Zan Kingdom. Close Black Lens Bracket. Open Black Lens Bracket the Kingdom of Hades, God of Hades, King of Hell. He is a symbol of death. Close Black Lens Bracket. Open Black Lens Bracket the country of Yuzan, Shinigami, whose name is unknown. He is the symbol of the soul and is said to be the strongest existence among all monarchs. Moreover, he controls the most primary worlds and issues the most tasks. The tasks I took on several times were all from him. Close Black Lens Bracket. Kingdom of Kama, evil god, whose name is unknown, only that he is a symbol of war and immortality. Close Black Lens Bracket. The Kingdom of Demons. This country is very strange. I have never heard anything about them, and if you look at this statue, you can't tell what it looks like at all. It's very mysterious. And where we are now is the deserted city of the Kingdom of Zan. The Kingdom of Zan is the lowest ranked country among the 5 major kingdoms. After all, the Kingdom of Zan accommodates all creatures with flesh and blood. And most of the existences of the other 4 kingdoms, they are all strong men whose souls have turned into reality. It is said that in the other 4 countries, people like me who are in the middle stage of the Super Shadow can only do city defense to support themselves. Then why don't the 4 kingdoms destroy the Kingdom of Zan? Isn't this one less country to share resources with them? This, seniors don't know. The 9 giant cities of the Zan Kingdom all contain all flesh and blood people. Their total population is nearly 10 billion. The business that the Zan Kingdom does is population. They provide supplies to all countries, known in the flesh. Because the soul body will be suppressed to some extent when going on missions in other worlds, so many powerful people will go to the Kingdom of Zan to buy a strong enough body before going on missions in other worlds. And the Kingdom of Zan has a set of institutions that do this business, called the 9th House. The price of orc bodies here is the highest, because orcs are born with strong bodies. As long as an adult orc, the body can withstand the full force of Chawing. Attack. Some orcs have stronger bodies and can fight for 300 rounds with ordinary 6 paths level. There are also many fairy level orcs who are willing to rent their bodies for a large number of soul crystals, so this should also be the Kingdom of Zan and can always exist. The reason? After all, if you pull out the roots of buying and selling, you won't be able to do it. You kid, you have a very thorough understanding of the world. Here, haha, after all, I have survived here for 30 or 40 years, and I have some insights. It's just that it's too difficult for low-level civilian warriors like us to rise up. But fortunately, the 5 major countries have many small worlds under their control, so there are many mission options. I also completed 4 missions before my strength reached the peak of the midterm cage level, and my physical body became a pure land world. One of the indispensable commodities. Advertisement. I also often tinker with some good bodies to sell. After all, I have to survive. As for the Shinigami mission, Senior, you can pick it up from the notice in the 5 Kingdoms Tower. Then go to the front desk to find the corresponding person in charge and get the portal. After the mission is completed, return the portal and get the reward. But you have to be at least above cage level to be qualified to enter and take on tasks, and I have only just reached the threshold. Oh, what will happen if the portal is not returned? This, Senior. This portal is useless. He can only teleport to the mission world and return to his own world. It has no other functions. Moreover, this thing has been branded by the detached masters of various major countries. Even if you don't return it, as long as you are in the pure land world and you don't return the portal for 3 days, someone will come to find you. At that time, you will not be able to get the reward for the task, and you will be severely fined. This will not be worth the gain. It turns out that the mainstream of this world is so deformed. It seems that Shinigami's ambition is not just to upgrade the pure land world. At this moment, Nanahoshi opened the 9 Magatama Rinnegan inherited from Kagayaheim. The pure land world in front of him suddenly became different, and everything was invisible. A super formation in the sky enveloped the deserted city, and the cores of the formations of the 9 large cities pointed directly at the sky. This was exactly the way the 7 stars had laid out the yin-yang 8 desolation sky-reaching formation. And there are 5 such formations in the entire pure land world. Each big country has a population of about 10 billion. With so much energy gathered, it would be easy even if you want to break through to the god level, right? If the Shinigami family is not the only one in this pure land, then it is very likely that the 5 major countries have reached some kind of agreement. Otherwise, how could this formation not be discovered by those kings? Those are truly powerful existences that transcend the 3rd level and above. At this moment, Fat Hu saw Qixing's right eye, and his spirit was instantly sucked into it. In an instant, Qixing had complete control over Fat Hu's memory. Looking at the dull fat tiger, Qixing nodded. You're not bad. You didn't lie to me, otherwise you would never wake up again. At this moment, Qixing reached out and patted his shoulder. Let's go. Why are we in a daze? Fat Tiger woke up and was confused. What happened to me just now? Forget it. Let's go, Senior. Let's go to the tower hall and have a look. With that said, Qixing stepped into the hall first. As soon as he entered the hall, a wave of ripples covered Qixing's body. Qixing waved his hand and the ripples were bounced away. This scene shocked everyone in the hall. Even Fat Tiger next to him was stunned. Is it possible that the Senior is stronger than the city guard? Otherwise, it is possible that the detection wave of the Wangcheng city guard has been destroyed with a wave of his hand. Just as everyone in the hall was making noise, a red light flashed into the hall. Qixing looked up and saw an old red-haired man walking up to Qixing and said, This lord is here with great dignity, but I am not welcome from afar, and I am offended. Chapter 213 9 Magatama Reincarnation Distinguished Heavenly Gods, and Wanji Mall. Qixing turned his head and glanced at the old man. Oh, although I didn't deliberately hide my strength, what kind of ability was it that allowed me to find out my realm in an instant? Back to my lord, this is the barrier set up by the city guard. Anyone who enters the 5 Kingdoms Tower to take on a mission will be detected. And my lord, you can easily open the detection ripples, and the energy in your body is extremely rich. The city guard cannot give in too much, so I judge that you must be an immortal level expert, so I boldly invite you to come upstairs. Lead the way. As he spoke, the old man led Qixing into the private room upstairs, while Fat Hu stayed downstairs. The guys who were familiar with Fat Hu immediately surrounded him.
Li Hu, how did you get to know such a strong man? Are they your relatives? You are here to find relatives. When you become rich, you must not forget your brothers.
The onlookers had different opinions. When Fat Tiger heard the words of these guys, he smiled on the outside, but felt bad on the inside. He smiled lightly on his face, but he was very disdainful in his heart. Damn, they're all F****************. Surface brothers, guys who do one thing in front of others and another behind the scenes. Back then, Laozi was in a state of poverty, and he was so groveling that he couldn't even borrow a soul crystal. Now that he sees that Laozi is going to be prosperous, they all come to flatter him. When Laozi is in a state of poverty again, they will probably be eager to sell Laozi's soul for money. Damn. As for Qixing, the old man introduced Qixing to the 3rd floor and then exited on his own. Qixing only waited for less than a minute before someone arrived. At this moment, I saw only the upper body of the person coming, with muscles all over his body. The 2 horns on his head were soaring into the sky, looking extremely sharp. But the lower body is not a human leg, but a pair of cow hooves, close black lens bracket. Obviously this guy's body is not his own, but the body of an orc. How he got it is unknown. Qixing teased. You are so fast, I'm afraid the city guard has already noticed my arrival the moment I entered here. Ha ha ha, this little brother is laughing. The people below are doing things quickly. This is a good thing. My friend, sit down quickly. And the person who spoke was none other than the guard of Wangcheng City, a pseudo-immortal powerhouse nicknamed the Barbarian Bull King. After carefully looking at Qixing, the visitor's eyes lit up and he laughed. Brother, you are here, it's hard to welcome him from afar. At this moment, this guy's name for Qixing has changed 3 times since he entered the door. It is obvious that from the moment he entered the door, he has been exploring Qixing's strength. On the surface, he is extremely polite, asking questions, just want to know Qixing's purpose of coming here, and the little thoughts in his heart have come to life. Not only does this kid's physical strength reach the immortal level, but his soul level is not lower than mine. What kind of soul method is he practicing that he can cultivate the physical body at the same time? If I can get his soul method, maybe it will be much easier for me to break through to the immortal level. If I can get his physical body, it will be the best of both worlds. Thinking of this, Ninjutsu Qixing formed a seal with his hands behind his back and instantly opened the sealing barrier in this room.
At this moment, black light exploded in the room, and a strange sealing formation on the ground was activated. The small, strange words radiated in 8 directions, directly covering the space in the room. The Ninjutsu city keeper, on the other hand, looked at Qixing with disdain from the edge of the room, and said with a chuckle.
You are really a young boy, completely defenseless against me, ha ha ha. Although I don't know how you cultivated to the immortal level at such a young age, you were trapped by my 8 beasts picture without my permission. Even if you are in the late stage of immortal level, you can't come out easily. Boy, hand over your soul magic and accept me as your master. Not only will I not kill you, I will also recommend you to go to the cemetery of the gods to find an opportunity. This is an opportunity that the younger generation dreams of. Advertisement, but Qixing has been in the ninja world for many years, and he can tell at a glance that this guy is not a thing, and he also knows that this guy is making plans of his own. How could Qixing not be prepared? The 9 Magatama reincarnation distinguished heavenly gods in his right eye has already been activated.
Just wait for this guy to look into his eyes. At this moment, Qixing said, what if you open the seal of the 8 beasts by yourself and ask me to come out? You brat, are you crazy? Would I be that stupid? Ninjutsu city keeper looked at Qixing. Before he finished speaking, he felt his brain was filled with something. He covered his head with both hands and shook it twice. After he stood firm, he looked into Qixing's eyes. Suddenly some inexplicable memories appeared in his mind, and the person standing in front of him turned out to be the master he needed to protect with his life. In just a few breaths, the mind of the lord of the deserted city, the bull-headed half-orc, took a 190-degree turn, and the fact that Qixing was his master was buried in his heart. At this moment, the guardian of the bull-headed city, naturally, became Qixing in this pure land. The world's first subordinate. At this moment, the guard of Ninjutsu city was in panic. He ran to the picture of the 8 beasts and quickly opened the seal with his hands. My lord, come out quickly. Admittedly, I forgot what I just said. Seeing that Qixing had not moved, Ninjutsu city keeper knelt in front of Qixing. Sir, I didn't know it was you. Why did you come here suddenly? Could it be that you came here for the ancient ruins, but the news from above has not been released yet, and it is not confirmed? The exact location of the ruins. Oh, ruins, you are talking about the cemetery of the gods. Yes, my lord, that ruins are opened every 100 years. Tomorrow is the 100-year period. Sir, we will set off after the news comes from fire guards. Okay, get up and tell me about Shinigami. What is his name? This, sir, it's best not to mention that person's name. It's taboo. He is the king of the country of Yuzan, the spokesperson of death, and the strongest man in this pure land world. According to rumors, he has transcended the 9 stages of transcendence. When we reach the 7th level and transcend the 7th level, as long as we mention his true name, he will know it. I see. Sure enough, Shinigami already has the power to dominate this world. Beyond the 7th level, unfortunately, I am still 1 step away from starting the 4th stage of super transformation, but my intuition tells me that I am still no match for him. It seems that everything needs to be considered in the long term. Okay Maniu, go down and let me stay in this room for the time being. Don't let anyone disturb you. Go and do your own business. I'll go back to find you tomorrow. Yes sir. After saying that, the Maniu king quietly exited the room. At this time, a prompt sound came from the system. Ding, congratulations to host, you have regained the first subordinate in the Pure Land world, and will be rewarded with 10,000 points. Close black lens bracket. Ding, congratulations to host, Wanji Mall has been successfully upgraded and is fully open to host. Everything is available. Close black lens bracket. Host points are 210,000 over 1 million. Close black lens bracket. No need to remind you, I know I still owe you points, don't worry you can't run away. As he spoke, Qixing opened the Wanji Mall with an expectant look on his face. Chapter 214 The 4th floor of Tianji Building, Tianji Coffin. At this time, the Wanji Mall has a magnificent appearance, and you can tell at a glance that it is a rare artifact. Qixing casually clicked on the first interface of Wanji Mall. The first item that caught my eye was a box as tall as a man, with the words, Tooth Guard Set, written on the box. And it only required 1 point. Qixing was very curious and spent 1 point to buy one. Just be willful and satisfy your curiosity, what the hell is a Tooth Guard Set? When I got the box, I didn't feel any weight at all. At the same time, the system prompt sounds. Ding, congratulations to host for getting a box of premium dental care set. Whether to turn on. When Qixing heard that the special tooth protection set was available, he chose to open it without hesitation. Ding! Congratulations to host, you have obtained 100 boxes of Yayala toothpaste, 100 toothbrushes that can really brush your teeth, and 100 boxes of really sharp toothpicks. Close black lens bracket. Seeing these 3 items, which are all the tooth protection set, Qixing was confused. This is really a cruel truth. As expected, curiosity is not allowed. When Qixing continued to look back, he saw a whole page full of items. There are only things you can't think of, and there is nothing that is not included here. Although they are all elementary items, they are more than complete, ranging from spiritual weapons and magic weapons for all stages to small necessities for all ages. From a tooth protection set that only requires 1 point, to a basic spiritual weapon that requires 999 points. Everything you need, even things like diapers, were sold in the system. At this moment, Qixing just wanted to praise the system for being awesome. When you open the second page, there are a lot fewer items. You can tell at a glance that they are all high-quality products. From the first item called Ninpo Tai, can copy a person exactly like yourself, no one can tell the difference except yourself. Authenticity, is worth 1,000 points, and the last item, the spear named Hades, is worth 9,999 points. There are nearly 3,000 types of items on this page. The third page is even more amazing. It ranges from super skills in all the worlds to various god-tier essences and bloods. There are 1,000 types. Qixing clicked it with joy. He has received the witch essence and blood, but the system prompts that the host is not strong enough and will be killed by this drop of essence. A sentence of mist reflects Qixing's mood at this moment. However, just when Qixing wanted to continue watching them all, there was a knock on the door. Didn't you say no one is allowed to disturb you? I have seen you, sir. There is a boy named Fat Who outside your door. He said he is your subordinate and wants to see you. If you don't see me, I will drive him away immediately. Fat Tiger, please forget about this kid, let him come in. It's my lord. After a few breaths, Fat Tiger pushed open the door and entered. Young man Li Bohu, I have met you. This young man is willing to serve you and do your best. At this time, Fat Tiger knelt down as soon as he came in, and kowtowed to Qixing. He had just vaguely seen the city guard. After exiting the room, his figure disappeared instantly. At this moment, Fat Tiger was trembling all over. He knew that, if you don't hug this thick thigh tightly this time, you will have no chance in the future. My dream of being inferior to 10,000 people was shattered. I will definitely regret it for the rest of my life. From the moment he was fawned over by everyone downstairs, Fat Who knew that this was the path he wanted to take in his life. Follow the footsteps of the strong, and you will become the right hand of the strong. Become a strong person that everyone looks up to. Qixing looked at Fat Tiger with interest. Give me a reason to accept you. It doesn't matter if you know what you want, and your strength is not even a little bit inferior. If I just make a move like you, a large group of people will be willing to follow me, and you can give me anything. Qixing's words left Fat Who speechless. Wait until you think clearly before answering. I'll give you 10 minutes to think about it. Advertisement. But less than a minute passed. Fat Who raised his head resolutely. Sir, I have thought clearly. I, Fat Tiger, have nothing, but I have this life and more than 300 pounds. Even if you want to eat me, meat can be taken care of for several days. I, Li Bohu, am willing to die for your lord. Qixing was stunned when he heard this. I'm not interested in your fat. As soon as Qixing finished speaking, Fat Tiger suddenly took out a dagger in his hand. Qixing's eyes narrowed when he saw this. But Fat Tiger was still kneeling on the ground, and then he cut the artery in his hand, and blood flowed to the ground. A strange formation was drawing a circle around Fat Tiger. At this moment, Fat Tiger was in extreme pain, and he kept moaning. But he did not stop the gathering of formations. Qixing watched all this happen with great interest. After a few breaths, the blood finally gathered to form a tiger-headed totem. The moment the totem was formed, a soul with a tiger's head and a human body suddenly emerged from Fat Tiger's body. His soul solidified, he knelt down on one knee, and the voice of his soul reached Qixing's ears. The Orc tribe, the Tiger tribe, and Li Bohu, I wish to serve you as my master for generations to come. I will never betray you. If you break your promise, heaven and earth will punish you. The oath of nature is made. As soon as the words fell, a majestic wave rose in the room, and a transparent contract appeared in front of Fat Tiger. Fat Tiger sprayed a breath of soul energy on the transparent contract, and then the contract flew towards the 7 stars. In Fat Who's extremely expectant eyes, Qixing's index finger pointed at the transparent contract. A soul guidance sounded in the room, the totem natural contract is completed. Fat Tiger cried with joy at this moment. His soul and body merged. Fat Tiger kowtowed again and knelt down to thank Qixing. Okay, get up, it's time to lose weight. Since you are one of our own, come with me. After Qixing finished speaking, he waved his hand to open his Tianji tower, and then took Fat Tiger inside. As soon as he entered the Tianji tower, Fat Who was shocked by what he saw in front of him. The dazzling array of luxurious decorations were all luxuries that could not be seen in the Pure Land world. There was no one in the Tianji building at the moment, so Qixing led Fat Who up to the 4th floor. I saw a box more terrifying than the slimming furnace lying on the 4th floor. Qixing looked at Fat Tiger. Lie in. Fat Tiger did not hesitate and jumped into it. This was the 4th floor of the Tianji building that Qixing opened after breaking through to the immortal level. An object named Tianji Coffin, the item introduction said. As long as you lie down in it, you can cut off the cause and effect between a person and the world, and you can also add other powerful fortunes to the Tianji Coffin and integrate it into yourself. Really do it and change a person's destiny. At this time, Qixing is experimenting to see if this thing is really that strong. I saw Qixing throwing a fragment of heavenly Tao into it. The next moment, white light bloomed in the Tianji Coffin, and then slowly integrated into Fat Tiger's body and even his soul. It has also been sublimated. Fat Tiger stood up and looked at Qixing. Sir, I feel like I have become stronger. Qixing shook his head. Not in terms of realm, it's just that your luck has gotten better. Chapter 215 Cemetery of the Gods. Here, Fat Tiger is confused at the moment. Sir, luck is so mysterious. How can you say that it will get better if it gets better? Qixing said nothing but looked at Fat Tiger with a chuckle. As soon as Fat Tiger finished speaking and stood up, a strange energy surged out of his body. The bottleneck he was stuck between the middle and late stages of super shadowing was unexpectedly loosened at this moment. The next second Fat Tiger knew that the opportunity had arrived. He immediately sat cross-legged and entered a selfless breakthrough. Tianji Tower absorbed countless energy from the void and began to gather on Fat Tiger's head. As for this breakthrough, a full night had passed. When Qixing and Fat Tiger walked out of the Tianji Tower, the sky gradually began to become brighter. At this time, the streets in the deserted city had become noisy and lively. People in groups of 3 or 3 were sitting together, discussing something. Qixing opened the window and listened to the conversation outside, which seemed to be about the cemetery of the gods. I just heard one of the handsome guys with long flowing hair say to a few people around him. I heard that this time the cemetery of the gods will be opened near the deserted city of Zon Kingdom. Several people around him were surprised after hearing this. No, even though the entrance to the cemetery of the gods has never been fixed, it has never been opened in a remote place like Wangcheng. This news is probably groundless. HMPH, what do you know? The sister of my eldest cousin's nephew's wife is the maid of the 3rd concubine of the castle guard. She is also my best friend. That girl is very close to me, and we basically fight fiercely every night. She will tell me everything until dawn, and I just heard this news from her. Wow, little brother, you have such a connection, it's really amazing. Of course. So this time we only need to stay in the deserted city, and we will know the final answer. By then, this great opportunity may be ours. So we must unite and start forming an alliance now. That's right. At this time, everyone was talking more and more excitedly, as if they had already benefited from the secret realm and would become the strongest in the next second. Qixing couldn't laugh or cry. The Fat Tiger on the side suddenly opened his tiger eyes and looked at Qixing excitedly. Sir, I have succeeded in breaking through the realm that I have not dared to break through for 5 years, and the realm has been stabilized. Thank you for your cultivation. It's a small matter, just follow me. You'll still have a lot of room for improvement in the future. It's my lord. Sir, has my luck really changed for the better? Haha, no matter whether it's good or not, you should be thankful for your breakthrough. Maybe today is your lucky day. Let's go. It's time to go see this guy, Man Niu. Let him take us to the tomb of the gods. As he spoke, Qixing waved his hand, and a demonic wind enveloped Qixing and Pangu, and disappeared into the room instantly. At this moment, the city guard mansion. Man Niu was entangled by his concubines and couldn't get away at all. At this moment, 5 women were pulling Man Niu King. Man Niu was also 2 heads and too big, and its body was basically hollowed out. After all, there was only a cow that was dead from exhaustion. There is no plowed field. But the next moment, there was a loud noise outside the door. Man Niu, you really know how to enjoy yourself, even if you have 5 such beautiful wives. Advertisement. As soon as he finished speaking, the visitor came to Niu's living room from outside the gate. Man Niu pushed away his wives, stood up and bowed, his voice like a bell. King Man Niu has seen fire guards. Is there any news about Master Phobos from the secret realm? Haha, I thought you, an old cow, would guard your gentle country and not care about this. If anything, Lord Phobos is joking. Butler, bring over the gift I prepared for Lord Phobos. When the housekeeper heard this, he immediately picked up a ring from the big table in the living room. The ring is crystal clear, as if made of crystal, and it doesn't feel the slightest weight in your hand. At this moment, the butler picked up the ring and walked quickly to Fire Guard. Lord Fire Guard, this is a small gift from the lord of the city. Please accept it. Fire Guard looked at the old man, took the ring, and with just one sweep of his soul power, he found out everything inside the ring. At this moment, there are 1,000 middle-grade soul crystals lying inside the ring. 1,000 middle-grade soul crystals can be exchanged for 10,000 low-grade soul crystals, and the purchase amount is quite considerable. After seeing the items in the ring, Fire Guard smiled happily. You're welcome, King Barbarian. I'll accept your gift. Master Yang Shen is here this time. He has issued an order and ordered the guards of the 9 cities to enter the tomb of the gods this time to find the crystallization of divine power. Lord Fire Guards, didn't we only need 3 city guards to enter it before? Why do we need so many this time? Don't ask, I don't know what the boss means. But for the sake of your generous gift, I can't help but tell you some inside information. This time, the leader of the country of Yuzan, Shinigami, used the general trend to deduce the secret, and God I received some hints. It seems that this is the last opening of the cemetery of the gods. Because every Yuanwei, the tomb of the gods will wander into the void again. Choose another habitat. Yuanwei, equal to 129,600 years. Even Shinigami's soul guards will enter it this time. What? Those perverts will also go in. They are all peak immortal level beings, so we won't die if we go in. No need to worry. Master Yangshan has his own arrangements, and all of us fire guards will also be dispatched. Upon hearing this, the barbarian bull king whispered, the strongest of you is only at the late stage of immortal level, how can you compare with the soul guard? Fire guard heard the words of the barbarian bull king, but he was not angry, but his face was slightly solemn. He continued, the specific location of the cemetery of the gods this time has been deduced. It is located in Miyakui Mountain outside the deserted city you are guarding. All 9 fire guards have been dispatched, and the other 8 have already gone to notify other city guards. Today at 3/4 of noon, the Tengu will eclipse the sun. At that time, the energy of all yin will gather, and the door to the tomb of the gods will also open. The words have been brought here. King Maniu, please don't be late. After saying that, the fire guard held the crystal ring happily, glanced at the barbarian bull king with disdain, turned around and disappeared. At this moment, the barbarian bull king was still in a daze. He did not expect it to be like this. He originally thought that this time he could avoid the trip to the tomb of the gods. But I didn't expect the king to issue an order. Looking at the 5 beautiful wives behind him, the barbarian bull king sighed, hoping to come back alive. I originally wanted to take Master Qixing with me, but let's forget it this time. After all, the soul guard guys are all murderous without blinking an eye. As soon as the barbarian bull king finished speaking, Qixing appeared beside him out of thin air. When the barbarian bull king sensed the presence of Qixing, he was so frightened that he broke out in a cold sweat. If this man wanted to kill me, he would be gone in an instant. Chapter 216 Dragon Blood Warrior. At this moment, the barbarian bull king turned around, saw Qixing's face, and hurriedly knelt down, but when he saw his 5 women were still dumbfounded, he roared, come over here and salute the Lord. At this time, several women walked slowly to the side of the man bull king. They reluctantly muttered, you, master man, are the guards of a deserted city. Why do you have to kneel down to a boy who doesn't have all his hair? When the Maniu king heard this, his heart convulsed. The person who said this was unintentional, but the listener was intentional. In his heart, the Maniu king had already greeted the 3rd concubine named Quifin and her whole family. Damn you idiot, you actually said this in front of the adults. If Laozi doesn't kill you, it proves that Laozi doesn't really protect the adults. If he kills you, he won't be able to part with your skilled skills. Forget it, I'll just offend you. I'll find a better replacement if I have the chance in the future. Quifin, who was just about to kneel down, suddenly felt a big hand grabbing her neck and just twisting it lightly. Click. The 3rd concubine named Quifin received the lunchbox directly. At this moment, the other 4 aunts were trembling with fear, their legs had already become weak and they fell to the ground, and they kowtowed to Qixing. They understood that the adult in front of them was more important in the heart of the barbarian bull king than the 4 of them. My lord, spare my life, my lord, spare your life. Qixing also didn't expect that Maniu king would be so decisive. It seems that the effect of 9 Magatama reincarnation distinguished heavenly gods is really strong. Before Qixing could say anything, the Maniu king chuckled, as if what happened just now had nothing to do with him. Sir, why did you come so suddenly? I was not even prepared to welcome you, Maverick. Qixing knew this cow and had completely surrendered to him. There's no need to greet you. I heard everything you just said. I will go to the secret realm of the tomb of the gods this time. Sir, please don't. All the 9 soul guards from Yuzan Kingdom will go. Those guys are all at the peak of immortal level. If they go, it won't be a problem for us. And if the soul guards will go, then the underworld guards from the kingdom of the underworld will definitely go as well. Although those guys are not more dangerous than the soul guards, they are not people who can be easily dealt with. I know. Wouldn't your fire guards from the kingdom of Zon also go? What are you afraid of? Sir, you don't know something. The strongest fire guards are in the late stage of immortal level, and there are a few guys in the middle stage of immortal stage. The one just now is the fire guard who has just been promoted to the middle stage of immortal stage. Compared with the Pluto guards in strength, the soul guard is incomparable. Oh, I see. What about the evil gods' 9 guards? Does this need to be said? My lord, of course the blood guards will also go. Those guys are as strong as the fire guards, but they are the most difficult guys in the major countries because they will not die and cannot be killed. They can only separating their bodies and sealing them can kill them temporarily, but once someone collects their bodies together, they can be resurrected in an instant. It's very evil. So, except for the fire guards, all the guards of the major kings are non-perverts. Oh, what about the kingdom of evil? Sir, don't talk about that country. That country is taboo in the eyes of the superiors. That country is shrouded in mist all year round. As long as people from the other 4 countries enter their territory, they will never come out again. So among the 5 major countries, except for the kings, we will meet, and the others may not survive to meet the people from the kingdom of evil. And every time there is no sign of their country in the secret realm, I think they won't come this time either. Advertisement. I see. Okay, it's almost time. Let's go to Miyakui Mountain. Grown-ups. Walk. Well, it's a death anyway. If you follow the adults, it's worth dying. As he said that, the Manyu king pushed away his wives again. Okay, Chunhua, Chuju, Sheji, and Lume, I don't mean to blame you. Get up. You go back to your room and wait for me to come back. Quote. After saying that, he put on his armor and followed Qixing out of the city guard's mansion. The group of people hurried along at an extremely fast speed. In less than half an hour, they arrived at the foot of Miyakui Mountain. At this time, Miyakui Mountain was already overcrowded. Everyone wants to enter the cemetery of the gods and get a piece of the pie. I don't know who it was that said that this was the last time the cemetery of the gods was opened, so the number of people coming this time was the largest in history. I really don't know if the location in the cemetery of the gods is wide enough. At this time, I am afraid that all the guys above cage level in half of the Pure Land are gathered in Miyakui Mountain. Today, all you can see in Miyakui Mountain is the crowds of people. There isn't even a place to stay. Except for those strong men whose strength reached 6 paths, they all stood in the void. The Man Bull King took Qixing and flew straight to the 9 fire guards. The 9 fire guards did not pay attention to the weakling of the Man Bull King at all. They just looked at the front with fiery eyes. That direction was the 9 guards of the other 3 countries. Quote. At this moment, the auras of the 9 fire zodiac signs are connected, like a volcano erupting, with a violent momentum. The 9 guards from several countries on the opposite side did not pay attention to the provocation of the fire guards at all, and just looked at the 9 people with cold eyes. Qixing knew that when he entered the cemetery later, there would probably be a killing. At this time, Qixing looked at the 9 fire guards carefully. It was obvious that although these people were average in strength, they had a common magic circle within their bodies. As long as the 9 people stood together, they could exert 3 times their own combat power. But in the distance, for unknown reasons, the 9 soul guards suddenly burst out with momentum, and black clouds above their heads covered the sky and the sun, covering the entire Miyakui Mountain. Next moment, a familiar figure stood beside the 9 soul guards. The person who came was a handsome young man dressed as a young man. This person was Long Aowushan. At this moment, Long Aowushan's true form has appeared, and his aura has reached the first level of transcendence. When Qixing looked over, Long Aowushan noticed Qixing's gaze. The two looked at each other. Long Aowushan smiled slightly, not knowing what he was thinking. But beside Long Aowushan, a beautiful woman frowned. He rarely saw Long Aowushan looking so happy. Then he followed Long Aowushan's gaze and looked at Qixing, and his eyes suddenly lit up. This young man is not simple. Wushan, isn't this the boy who defeated your clone several times? Seeing that Wushan remained silent, the woman smiled sweetly again. Oh my, he is such a handsome boy. I really want to kiss Fangs. When Long Aowushan heard this woman's words, his head shook. Dragon Blood Warrior G, don't be angry. That boy is very weird. Don't provoke him. Quote. Huh, weird. How weird can a little guy in the early stage of immortal level be? But when you say that, I am even more curious. Well, when I catch him, I must know what weird tricks he has. At this moment, Dragon Blood Warrior G looked at Qixing with blazing eyes, and she didn't know what he was thinking. I saw her clamping her beautiful legs tightly and looking at Qixing with a secret look. Chapter 217 The Tomb of the Gods opens. When Qixing saw this, he was a little confused. Why is that woman's eyes so possessive? Could it be that we have something he wants in us? At this moment, Qixing was trying to stay calm and couldn't see any fluctuations in his heart at all. At this moment, the barbarian bull king next to him was already frightened. How is it possible? How is it possible? The master from the country of Yuzan actually sent the 2 transcendents around him. We will definitely die this time when we enter the secret realm. Both of you, are there only 2 transcendents around Shinigami? No, Master Qixing, there are 4 transcendent beings beside him. They are Long Ao Wu Tian, Dragon Blood Warrior Ji, Wu Shang Tian Yuan, Wu Guo Tian Bao. The 4 great transcendent beings. The strength of those 4 people is enough to suppress the Pure Land side. If it weren't for the Kingdom of Kai, together with the other 3 countries, and the Kingdom of Yuzan to sign a mutually restrictive leap, and would never allow strong men who transcended the realm to take action, I am afraid that this Pure Land world would have already become a Yuzan the country's world. But I don't know why these 2 people came. Oh, the 5 major kings restrict each other, so what is the realm of the king of Xuanji Kingdom? I'm not sure, but I heard decades ago that he is a strong man who has transcended the 5th level. Otherwise, he would not be qualified to sign a mutual restriction agreement with the other 4 people. Oh, isn't there such a transcendent person beside the leader of the Kingdom of Zan? Sir, do you think that transcendent people are just cabbage? There are as many as you want. There are only 21 of those powerful people in the Pure Land world. Only those who have the ability to break through to the peak of the immortal level can be qualified to challenge Pure Land. Then kill the strong men on the soul list, and get the key to transcendence from them. Only then can you break through to the realm of transcendence. Do you know how many immortal level experts there are in the 5 major countries? As he spoke, the barbarian bull king stretched out 5 fingers. Qixing asked curiously. 500. There are a total of 50,000 adults. And there are nearly 10,000 people who have cultivated to the peak of the immortal level. And 1/5 of these 10,000 people die every year challenging the lower-ranked transcendent ones. Are just like the 9 guards, they were recaptured by the 5 major countries. As for the 21 transcendent ones, excluding the 5 great kings, there are only 16, and these 16 are harder to see than the kings. It doesn't matter whether some of them are still in this Pure Land world. The leader of Xuanji country used to have 2 of them. But for some unknown reason, those 2 people never appeared again after entering the Forbidden Land of the Kingdom of Demons. Quote. Forbidden area. Yes. The Kingdom of Demons itself is within the demonic Forbidden Land, and the demonic Forbidden Land is also the largest Forbidden Land in the Pure Land world. After hearing this, Qixing not only sighed, it seems that my strength is still not enough. I hope this trip to the Tomb of the Gods will be fruitful. The 2 of them were not talking at this moment, and Qixing looked at the Hades guards. Those guys were covered in black robes and looked extremely mysterious, and not a breath of breath was leaked from their bodies. There is no way to detect what level of strong man he is. What is the state of the system's 9 great underworld guards? Ding. 2 late-stage immortals, 5 peak immortals, 1 transcends the first level, and 1 transcends the second level. Close black lens bracket. Damn, how much benefit is there? Even if the 5 major countries break the agreement, they still have to send strong men who have transcended the realm. I'm afraid this time the Tomb of the Gods is not as simple as it seems. It's definitely not possible to just look for the crystallization of divine power, otherwise there would be no need to dispatch so many strong men. Even if we attack an intermediate world, we still have a slight chance of winning. Advertisement. And when Qixing glanced at the 9 blood guards, he saw the blood guards of the Kingdom of Sickles, all covered in red robes, but there was a black sun on their foreheads. Below the sun, there were 3 black lines on the left and right on both sides of the face. Gang, looks very much like the transformation of Hidan from the ninja world. Are all evil believers really the same? System, how strong is the blood guard? Ding. 9 blood guards, 1 of the 8 peak immortals has transcended the first level. Close black lens bracket. Hearing the system's answer, Qixing finally confirmed his guess. That's right, this time in the Tomb of the Gods, great opportunities are accompanied by great crises. It seems that we have to find an opportunity to use the heavenly disc to deduce good or bad luck. Just as Qixing was looking around, hoping to find someone from the Kingdom of Evil, the sky suddenly darkened. The next moment there were dark clouds and the wind was howling. Amidst the piercing sound of the wind, something huge seemed to be roaring, and everyone exclaimed, "This is the Tengu sun eclipse, starting so soon." In the sky at this moment, the sunlight has long been blocked by dark clouds, and it is not known whether it is the darkness caused by the Tengu eclipse. Everyone only felt that the moment the sky darkened, a huge Uzumaki appeared on the top of Mount Mayasui. Uzumaki is getting bigger and spinning faster and faster. Those standing nearby who were not strong enough were directly devoured by Uzumaki, and 1/10 of them died before they even saw the secret realm. Others grabbed hold of the tree trunks around them. Only those strong men above the 6 paths were fighting steadily in the air, motionless, as if the powerful wind was deliberately avoiding them. Slowly, red and white lights continued to emerge from Uzumaki. When the 2 rays of light merged into one, Uzumaki began to pour in, forming a funnel and pouring crazily into a space crack. The cracks in space are getting bigger and bigger. In the end, a huge mouth about 100 meters wide appeared. Inside the huge mouth, there was yin qi surrounding it, and it seemed that a great terror was hidden. But no one who was still here at this time flinched. All eyes were blazing. When Uzumaki disappeared, the mouth was slowly healing. At this time, I don't know who shouted, "The secret realm is opened, rush." Then the crowd began to get restless, and hundreds of thousands of people who were close to the crack began to rush towards the crack on the top of the mountain. But before they could reach the entrance of the crack, the nearly 10,000 people who rushed to the front fell straight to the ground, and then their bodies began to it was gradually corroded by the unknown gas. Those screams echoed throughout Miyakui Yamanaka. And the people following behind them dared to rush forward. As fast as they rushed when they came, they retreated as fast as they came. The guys further behind, unable to see clearly the accident ahead, were still rushing forward. At this moment, people were crowded and stepped on. When the accident subsided, it was found that several masters beyond cage level were dead. And these aggrieved guys are probably the first Chaoying to be trampled to death in this Pure Land world. It was also at this time that no one dared to stand out. Just watching the huge crack slowly closing. When the huge crack shrank to only 10 meters in size, it unexpectedly began to shape into a light gate that flickered on and off. It went up and down suddenly, and finally stopped at an altitude of several hundred meters, with no intention of landing at all. At this moment, nearly 1 million people surrounding Miyakui Mountain stared blankly at the light gate suspended in the sky, with only 1 million grass mud horses galloping past in their hearts. Chapter 218 Branch Elf. Those who were not strong enough to fly by their own strength, and those who were not at the 6 paths level, all began to curse this light gate, but what was the use of it? However, there were always a few smart guys who thought of a way, and then they took out some treasures from their bodies in exchange for help from the 6 paths level masters around them. Sure enough, this method is easy for those 6 paths level masters. Not only does it not offend anyone, but it can also turn people into favors. Why not do it? I saw some 6 paths level beings. After taking the benefits, they held one in each hand and flew into the light gate. There are also some guys who use their abilities to throw their companions out. Of course, the success rate of this method is not high, but there are also people who can enter the light gate steadily. At this moment, nearly 1 million people on the ground began to show their magical powers and use various methods to enter the light gate. In just a few minutes, half of the people had entered the cemetery of the gods. At this time, the 9 guards from Shikoku saw that many people had entered safely and were basically sure that there was no danger, so they finally started to take action. I saw Long Aowushan and Longshe Zanji. After looking in the direction of Qixing, they took the 9 people behind them and stepped into the light gate in one step. Immediately, a sturdy masked man followed closely with 9 Hades guards. Then came the 9 blood guards of the kingdom of Kama, who entered the secret realm under the leadership of an old man. Finally, it was the fire guard from the kingdom of Zan who stepped into the secret realm without any hesitation. Qixing and the Maniu King looked at each other and heard the Maniu King say, "Sir, everyone who enters the tomb of the gods will be randomly teleported to different locations. You must be careful of the 9 guards of each country and their leaders. Those people are in a certain place. Each other can be sensed at a distance. They will gather soon. Well, go ahead. Find your own opportunity. If you encounter a life or death crisis, crush the talisman in your hand. It can save you once. Use it with caution." "Thank you, sir. The calf is gone." Then Qixing held the fat tiger in his left hand and used his big hand to throw the fat tiger directly towards the gate of the secret realm. "Fat tiger, you have your chance, trust your intuition, live hard, and don't waste my fragments of heaven." Quote. Fat tiger didn't know what fragments of heavenly law Qixing was talking about. He only knew that now, the wind was pouring it into his mouth. At this moment, my stomach was full of wind. Even after crossing the light gate, the wind still didn't stop. I don't know how long it took. I just heard a bang in the distance. Fat tiger's fat body fell to the ground in a parabola. Passed out. Apparently falling from a height of several hundred meters, even the fat tiger in the late stage of Chaoying was beaten to pieces. At this moment, Qixing took out the mini celestial disc, and kept operating something with his right hand. I saw that the left side of the Tianji disc was all green, which meant safety, while the right side was all blood red, which meant life was in danger. The 2 colors were intertwined with each other, and they had the potential to slowly form a Tai Chi pattern. Suddenly, Qixing received some exciting news in his mind. I didn't expect that the opportunity for me to break through to the transcendent realm would be in this tomb of the gods. Although opportunity comes with the risk of death, if you miss this opportunity to reach the sky in one step, you will not be able to compete with the Otsutsuki clan in a short time. The newly promoted intermediate world of the ninja world can only give way to it. But Qixing is obviously not a good person. If you want to take away my things, even if you die, I will break one of your hands. After doing all this, Qixing's figure flashed and his whole body submerged into the light gate. Advertisement. After Qixing saw his surroundings clearly again, he was stunned by the beautiful scenery in front of him. This was completely different from what he had seen in the crack just now. Standing 100 meters high in the sky, Qixing could only see the bottom. Surrounded by green shade, overlapping mountains, and hundreds of meters tall trees swaying one after another. It seemed to be waving to 7 stars. Qixing wondered, isn't this the secret realm that I saw just now? How could there be such a big difference? Perhaps because the secret realm has not been opened for 100 years, all the yin qi gathered at the exit. When the exit was opened, it all dispersed into the pure land world and was assimilated by nature. Qixing could only forcefully explain this. However, just as Qixing was thinking and preparing to move in that direction, underground, those big trees over 100 meters high were all like living creatures, with countless vines stretching out from the tops of the branches, trying to bind Qixing. Qixing was also startled by the sudden vines. His figure flickered. After dodging a few vines, more vines came towards Qixing. Before Qixing could get out of the way again, a large number of vines had formed into a ball, trapping Qixing inside. The ball began to fall, and when it reached the top of the tree, a thin monster with green skin, rabbit ears on its head, and bull's eyes emerged from the branches. If Qixing saw it, he would definitely think it was wood style. At this moment, I only heard what this guy said. Then, within a radius of a kilometer, one of these green-skinned monsters appeared on the top of the tree every moment. All the green-skinned monsters gathered in the center and surrounded the ball as if they had caught delicious food. However, what these green-skinned monsters didn't know was that Qixing had already activated Kamui, and the moment his body was bound by the vines, he entered another space. But what Qixing never expected was that less than a minute after he entered the different space, he was forcibly pushed out by some rules. How is it possible that my Kamui can't last even 1 minute in this cemetery of the gods? What's going on with the system? Ding! The space of the pure land world is different from that of the ninja world, and the strength of the space barriers is also different. The host's Kamui space ability only guides the body to the alien space closest to itself. However, the spatial barriers in the Pure Land are already very thick, not to mention that this is the cemetery of the gods. The spatial barriers here are at least 3 times thicker than those in the Pure Land world. Close black lens bracket. And you don't think that the gods were buried here only after they died? Close black lens bracket. Qixing asked doubtfully, isn't it? Ding. No, they were just exiled in this caged place. Even they can't use their space abilities to get out of here. Do you think your understanding of space is stronger than theirs? Close black lens bracket. After hearing this, Qixing suddenly realized that this was the case. At this moment, the seven-star figure appeared outside the vine ball. When they saw the 7 stars, the green-skinned monsters seemed to be frightened, and they got into the branches one after another and disappeared. Qixing also looked surprised. These little things don't have any breath at all, but they can easily control trees and vines, and they can also integrate with the trees. It's really a magical species. System, what kind of creature is this? Ding, the green-skinned tree rabbit can walk upright. It is a natural branch spirit. It has evolved and gained wisdom by absorbing the essence and blood of a god-level expert in the wood system. Its own strength is around Shunan or Jonin, and it can freely manipulate branches, vines, and the strength of these vines is determined by the age of the tree. He is timid in character and likes to capture movable creatures and make them his playthings. When he gets tired of playing with them, he will let them go. Close black lens bracket. Chapter 219 Ghost-Faced Bear and Tiger-Faced Eagle. There was only the last one left on the scene, the tree rabbit, staring at the 7 stars in disbelief. Qixing was mumbling something, but Qixing couldn't understand it. System, exchange the language of the Tree Elves Grandmaster. Ding, host spends 100 points to redeem the language Grandmaster of all types of Tree Elves. Ding, congratulations to the host, you are proficient in the Tree Elf language. Close black lens bracket. When the little thing chirped again, Qixing finally understood what he meant. You guys dare to evade the capture of Lord Gigi. You are so bold. Why don't you just surrender quickly? Become a subject of this lord. Hearing this, Qixing smiled. You little guy, you live on the top of the tree and have no natural enemies. How can you survive until now with your wisdom? Look clearly. Hey, I am a human standing at the top of the food chain. If I can, I will eat you. After understanding Qixing's words, Gigi was surprised. You can actually understand my lord's language. Qixing was speechless and didn't want to talk nonsense. He waved his hand and a terrifying pulling force directly pulled the green-skinned monster into his hand. His eyes were filled with blood and murderous intent, and he immediately frightened the little thing to the point of peeing. At this moment, the lord named Gigi looked at Qixing blankly, with tears in his eyes. Don't eat Gigi. Gigi doesn't taste good. When did I say I was going to eat you? Just now. Okay, I'm afraid of being poisoned by your color. Okay, just answer whatever I ask you. If you're satisfied, I'll let you go. Really? Qixing nodded to confirm. When he heard this, the green-skinned monster stopped crying instantly. Your name is Gigi, right? How long have you been here? Gigi was stunned. How can I remember? It was a long time ago anyway. When I couldn't walk, there were many people fighting here. I don't know how long it took. They were all dead, but the bodies of those guys, but I don't know who dragged him out of this forest and out of my territory. If it was dragged away, it must have been buried in the tomb of the gods. Could it be that the tomb of the gods is outside the forest? The heavenly secret disc also points directly to my chance. It is in the tomb of the gods. It seems that I have to go and see where the gods are buried. By the way, Gigi, do you know what is outside the forest? Well, this lord can't get out of this forest, and I can't see anything outside the forest. So, is there any place in this forest with very strong energy? Yes. In a cave, there are many small luminous stones, and there are terrifying energy fluctuations. I have sneaked in a few times. Why did you go secretly? Aren't you the lord of this forest? That place is not under my jurisdiction, and there is a very huge monster in that cave. He blocked the entrance. It is difficult to get in. Let's go. Take me. I don't want to go. That guy will eat us. If you don't go, I will eat you right now. Advertisement. No, Gigi doesn't taste good. It tastes very bitter. You won't like that taste. Maybe I like it. Okay, I'll take you there. After speaking, he stretched out his short arm and pointed to the northwest. Qixing found the direction, grabbed Gigi, and disappeared above the treetops with just a few jumps. At this moment, Qixing is moving at full speed, while Gigi is drinking the northwest wind. The words he spoke were all blown away by the wind. This forest is very big, and Qixing moved at full speed for half an hour before reaching the cave not far from Gigi's place. At this time, Qixing knew that the distance was less than 10 kilometers, and his speed slowed down. At this moment, a huge black shadow passed by in the direction of the cave. Only the terrifying sound of explosions was left. Although the speed of that thing was strange, it was completely invisible in the eyes of Qixing's 9-magnitude jade wheel. I saw that this thing was huge, with a wingspan of nearly 40 meters. The feathers on its body were like scales, glowing with a cold metallic luster, and its sharp claws were purple-black. And his head actually looks like a tiger. What kind of tiger is it? I still haven't brought Qixing to ask the system. Just listen to the roar of the stellar eagle. The sound sounds like a tiger but not a tiger, like a dragon but not a dragon, and it spreads throughout the forest. When Gigi heard it, he was so frightened that he retracted his head into his neck. After this roar, there was another huge roar, coming from inside the cave with extremely rich energy. Qixing recognized that this was the roar of a bear, but he didn't know what species it was. At this moment, Qixing gave up flying and kept shuttling between the tree trunks. This makes the concealment much better. After marching for about 10 minutes, a sudden light came into view. In a wide open space, there was a huge figure nearly 30 meters tall, eating a giant python. System: scan all large target information within a radius of 1 kilometer. Ding. Target: the vampire-faced bear, the 3rd level upgraded bear king. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Target: divine-blooded tiger-faced eagle, the upgraded eagle king of the 3rd level of transcendence. Close black lens bracket. Ding. Target: divine-blooded fox-faced snake, the upgraded snake king of the 1st level of transcendence. Close black lens bracket. Seeing this, Qixing took a breath of cold air and said, guys with the 1st level of transcendence can only take turns to be food, so guys like me come here to deliver food to others. As he spoke, Qixing used the wood style directly and merged his body into the tree trunk. To avoid unnecessary disaster later. And the giant eagle in the sky was still soaring overhead, seemingly looking for an opportunity to kill with one strike. Kill the bear king. Suddenly, the giant eagle seemed to find an opportunity and swooped down from the sky. The air was rubbed with sparks of fire. The giant bear didn't seem to notice, and was still eating the giant python silently. When the giant eagle's claws were about to pierce the bear king's head, the bear king suddenly turned around, threw out the python in his hand, and hit the flying giant eagle. The giant eagle was unprepared, and its right wing was entangled, and then a huge force tore it down from the sky and fell hard to the ground. The bear king put down the giant python in his hand, pounced, and flew up to ride on the back of the giant eagle. The giant eagle is also smart. It folds its wings and rolls. The bear king fell short. The giant eagle took this opportunity to spread its wings and fly high. How could the bear king let him succeed? He stretched out his big hand, grabbed the giant eagle's black claw with his left hand, and grabbed the giant tree next to him with his right hand. The two beasts struggled and wrestled with each other. Finally, nearly half an hour later, both beasts were exhausted. The giant eagle retracted its wings and fell to the ground. However, the giant talon reached forward, and the bear king was caught off guard. The giant eagle grabbed his right arm, and the giant talon sank directly into his right arm. In the middle, blood gushes out like spring water. The bear king was in pain, so he lifted the giant eagle and smashed it from the sky to the ground. The giant eagle began to feel dizzy, and the bear king could no longer move his left hand. Seeing this, the bear king released his left hand, stretched out his big palm, and touched the wings of the giant eagle. The giant eagle felt the bear king's movements, but at this time, the dizziness was not yet fully awake. The bear king grabbed the eagle's wings and pulled hard, only to hear a crisp sound, click. The eagle wing bones were directly torn apart. The giant eagle felt pain and let go of its talons, then reached for the bear king's left hand. I want to cripple King Bear's arms. How could King Bear be willing to be beaten passively? He stuck out his left palm. Meet the giant eagle's left talon. Chapter 220. I'll give you a chance to live. Qixing, who was hiding in the tree, felt a terrifying wave of energy surge out from between his palms, instantly blowing away trees within a kilometer radius. Then there was a strong sound of metal collision. Scattered in all directions, the two beasts stepped back 100 meters. The eagle flew 1,000 meters away and knocked down several 5-meter thick trees. Only then did he stop. The bear king raised his head proudly, as if to express victory to the loser. Looking at his trophy in front of him, the bear king roared excitedly and stepped forward, wanting to drag the food into the cave. But when the bear king approached the tiger eagle less than 30 meters away, the tiger eagle, which was already covered in blood and dying, suddenly became angry. Under its sharp beak, a blue-white ray spurted out. The ray's penetrating power and speed were it was so powerful that the ray had already penetrated the bear king's left shoulder before even the 7 stars had reacted. This time the bear king's hands were really crippled. Qixing was also curious. System, what kind of ability is this? Ding. Tiger eagle's natal magical power is photon rays. Close black lens bracket. But why are photon rays blue-white? Ding. Because the energy of the ray comes from the change of atomic energy, the speed of the ray reaches the speed of light, so it appears blue. White means that the tiger eagle's life energy has been lost too much. Close black lens bracket. Although the bear king avoided its vital parts, the bear king already felt a fatal threat from the rays emitted by abandoning life energy, and turned around to escape. But it's too late. I saw that the giant eagle, which originally had a wingspan of 40 meters, began to shrink rapidly when it released the second photon ray. Before the bear king could turn around, the blue-white ray penetrated the bear king's chest. The bear king, who was still running forward, continued to run forward for several hundred meters due to inertia, before his body collapsed to the ground. The moment the bear king fell to the ground, the bear king's blood dyed the ground red, and a strange formation suddenly appeared on the ground. The bear king's heart, which had stopped beating, unexpectedly revived again. Boom, boom, boom. After 3 powerful muffled sounds, the bear king miraculously stood up. Although he was very weak, there was no problem at all in dealing with the tiger-faced eagle who was even more weak. The bear king turned his head and looked at the tiger eagle with that terrifying ghost face, smiling coldly. At this time, Tiger Eagle was in despair. His current physical strength and life energy were no longer enough to emit photon rays. But the ghost-faced bear switched to another face, the real ghost-faced state, which was eerie and terrifying. When Qixing saw this, he was also startled and broke into a cold sweat. System, what happened to that bear just now? Ding, a ghost-faced bear has two sides, a bear face and a ghost face. It has a bear face during the day and a ghost face at night. When one side dies, the other side will appear regardless of day or night. And the strength is reduced by 50%. When the strength is restored, the other side will be resurrected. Close black lens bracket. Tisk 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 tisk, it really deserves to be the cemetery of the gods. The creatures here are so magical. After saying this, Qixing appeared directly and at the same time activated Super Tournament Mode 3. Because this ghost-faced bear, although its strength has been reduced by 50%, its terrifying aura is still lingering at the peak of the immortal level and the first level of transcendence. Qixing knew that the guy had let down his guard at this time and had to use all his strength to severely injure him. Otherwise, he would miss the perfect opportunity and it would be difficult to inflict serious damage on the peak immortal level being. I saw Qixing's aura growing explosively. After the start of Super Saiyan, his strength increased to the middle stage of immortal level. After the start of Super Saiyan 2, his strength reached the late stage of immortal level. When Super Saiyan 3 started, his strength directly reached the peak of immortal level. At this moment, Qixing had taken out the artifact in his left hand, the 7-star demon sword. The sword was wrapped in black light. Qixing waved his hand and slashed it down. A 100-meter-long black magic light flew out from the sword. At the same time, he started to move swiftly, following the black sword light. The ghost-faced bear had already sensed the danger. The moment he turned around, he covered his chest with both hands and roared angrily. A wall of hundreds of meters of earth rose from the ground. Advertisement. The black sword light instantly cut through the earth wall, and then hit the ghost-faced bear's arms hard. When the black sword light hit the ghost-faced bear, the painful ghost-faced bear looked up to the sky and roared. Before it could react, Qixing's 7-star demonic sword had already penetrated the ghost-faced bear's body. At this moment, the ghost-faced bear was swinging its body wildly, trying to throw Qixing down, but gradually, the ghost-faced bear found that the blood essence in his body was being absorbed by this magic sword that emitted black light. The sword that originally didn't hit the heart actually sucked the blood from the bear king's heart. The 30-meter-long body of the ghost-faced bear suddenly fell to the ground. The magic sword was still sucking blood, and in the end the bear king was left with only skin and bones. The dying Stellar's eagle lying not far away was so frightened that it fainted when it saw this scene. Qixing ignored Stellar's pretending to be unconscious for the time being, pointed at the bear king's skin and bones, and asked, "Will the system accept this thing from Wanji Mall?" Ding. Wanji Mall sells all things and buys all things. Close black lens bracket. Oh, then take the corpse of the ghost-faced bear king. Ding. Congratulations to host, you sold a corpse of the ghost-faced bear king, transcended the 3rd level, and obtained 6,000 system points. Oh, that's not bad. A sucked corpse is worth 6,000. If it's the corpse of the gods, it won't be sold at a sky-high price. Hey, if this eagle disobeys, just take it back. At this moment, Qixing walked up to the stellar eagle and used the water shield ninjutsu. However, he never expected that the water dragon bomb was only the size of an egg. Why was the chakra energy in the tomb of the gods so thin? System, what's going on? Ding, chakra energy level is too low and has been assimilated by a large amount of divine power. Close black lens bracket. Then why can't I feel the presence of divine power? Ding, only those who transcend the 9th level can begin to come into contact with divine power, and only those who truly break through to the divine level can absorb and use divine power. Close black lens bracket. I see, it seems I'm still too weak. Saying this, Qixing grabbed the stellar and threw it directly into a small lake not far away. The next second, the stellar's eagle, which pretended to be unconscious, suddenly woke up and began to flutter in the lake water. Qixing waved his hand and grabbed the stellar eagle, which was about 10 meters away. I know you can understand me. I give you a chance to live. Follow me and become my mount. You will be able to continue to fly in the sky. Become the overlord of the sky. Nod if you agree. At this time, the stellar not only did not nod, but also showed a ferocious look, as if it wanted to choose someone to devour. And it flapped its wings fiercely and struggled hard, as if to say that I would rather die than surrender. Qixing smiled, a sinister smile. Even if I leave now, you will be devoured by other ferocious beasts that come later. If you die in the mouths of those extremely weak beasts, you might as well become my points. I only give you 10 seconds to think about it. After saying this, the 7-star demonic sword in Qixing's right hand was raised high, ready to pierce the stellar's head. Chapter 221. Deep in the cave. When the tip of the sword was less than an inch away from the stellar, the giant eagle actually made an expression of resignation. Qixing was stunned when he saw this scene. This expression, which can only be seen on human faces, appeared on the face of the giant eagle at this time. It was really inconsistent. You are so understanding of human nature. Come on, take out your blood essence and drip it on this contract. As he spoke, Qixing took out a white parchment scroll from his arms and placed it in front of the tiger-headed eagle. The tiger-headed eagle shook its head, indicating that he could not understand the content at all. Don't worry, from today on you are my summoning beast, I can still harm you. The tiger-faced eagle shakes its big head, indicating that human beings are the most hypocritical existence. Although I don't trust humans, I can't help it. Even if the eagle is under the eaves, it has to bow its head. He could only force out a drop of blood essence from his body, and it dripped on the scroll. In an instant, the golden light of the scroll burst out, covering the whole body of the Stellar's eagle. In an instant, the scroll included the Stellar's eagle in it. And this scroll is the summoning beast master and servant scroll that Qixing spent his points in the Wanji Mall. Signing this scroll is equivalent to signing a life and death contract. The summoning beast must never go against its master's will. Moreover, this scroll will form an independent pet space, and the summoning beast's injuries can be slowly recovered in the space, and the summoning beast can be brought into this space at any time as long as it is within the range of the 7-star consciousness C. This scroll is more powerful than distinguished heavenly gods and can quickly tamper with the opponent's memory. However, this scroll requires 3,000 points, which is a bit expensive. Ding! Congratulations to host, you have recovered the aboriginal people from the cemetery of the gods, the stellar eagle, and are awarded 10,000 points. Close black lens bracket. Hey, I felt sorry for Qixing who had 3 seconds of points just now. I feel much better now. Qixing reached for the scroll suspended in the air, looked at the little green monster in his left hand, and chuckled. Xiaolu, is the monster you were talking about the bear just now? It's settled now. Yes, don't call me Xiaolu, please call me Lord Gigi. Haha, Lord, please straighten your territory first. I will respectfully call you Lord Gigi. How about that? HMPH. Don't worry, I, Lord Gigi, will definitely hold this forest firmly in my hands. I'm looking forward to it, so now do you want to go into this cave with me? Humph, of course I have to patrol my territory. Let's go. Let me take the lead this time. After saying that, he jumped out of Qixing's palm. He swaggered towards the cave ahead. Just relying on his 2 short legs, he walked out of the way without even recognizing his relatives. Qixing followed behind him, with a faint smile on his serious face. Although Qixing looked calm on the surface, Qixing's whole body was already tense at this time. Not to mention whether it was safe in the cave, and secondly, the battle between the 2 beasts was likely to attract powerful ferocious beasts. It's time for a quick victory here. Thinking of this, Qixing quickly moved forward, picked up Gigi and disappeared into the cave in front of him. Then he waved his left hand, and a 9-door magic array was placed at the entrance of the cave by 7 stars. Hopefully it lasts for a while. As soon as Qixing entered the cave entrance, he felt that the soul power here was extremely strong. The deeper he went, the soul power had even condensed into mist. Advertisement. Gigi was also excited and chirped loudly. It just means excitement. Qixing saw that the energy around him was unusually rich, so he took out a strange egg directly from the backpack space. When the egg's body encountered this rich soul power, it actually began to emit a faint halo. The little guy Gigi also came up curiously, looked at the balls that were as high as him, and touched them left and right. He has regarded this egg as his plaything. But as Qixing continued deeper into the cave, the concentration of the soul power began to become a little thicker. The speed of travel was also blocked by this soul power alone. And the light of the egg body is even brighter. The originally dark cave can now be seen. After continuing forward for several miles, the thick soul power directly blocked Qixing's progress. That is to say, the strength is insufficient, and the immortal level can only reach this depth in the early stage. Qixing was also a little helpless and could only stop, rest for a while and move forward again. However, this weird egg was unwilling. As soon as Qixing stopped, he began to shake, indicating that he would continue to go deeper. I'm talking about Dandan, the soul power here is too dense. I don't dare to absorb it directly. It will burst. Let me rest for a while before going deeper. Perhaps because he understood Qixing's words, at this moment, several small tornadoes appeared directly around the egg, and countless soul power began to pour into the egg. In just 3 breaths, Dan was able to absorb and wipe away the thick soul power within 100 meters. The speechless Qixing could only continue to move forward. Every 200 meters he had to let Dandan absorb the soul power, and then continue. He did not know how far he had traveled in this way. The thickness of the soul power at this time had already overwhelmed Qixing. I can't breathe, as if a 10,000-meter high mountain is falling above my head. But the end ahead is far away. The most important thing is that Dandan seems to have reached saturation in absorbing soul power. It has been quiet for a long time, but the fluorescence on Dandan's body is getting brighter and brighter. I thought it would take a long time to move forward, but I didn't expect that not long after Qixing sat down cross-legged, countless cracks appeared on his balls, and the fluorescence on them disappeared. I thought it was about to hatch, but after waiting for half an hour, there were already many cracks, but there was no sign of breaking out of the shell. And Qixing didn't dare to move forward. After all, the current depth put too much pressure on Qixing. But the egg began to shake again, and the moment Qixing moved forward, the surrounding soul power that should have condensed into substance disappeared completely. Although there was no light in Dandan's body, Qixing knew that Dandan must have become stronger. No wonder the system said it requires a lot of energy to hatch. It really didn't deceive me. At this moment Qixing continues to move forward, but as he walks, the road ahead has disappeared. Yes, this is the end, there is no way ahead, but can this little trick be used to hide Qixing's 9 Magatama Rinnegan? Of course it's impossible. I saw the 7 stars opening the 9 Magatama Rinnegan. Behind the stone door in front, there turned out to be a slightly spacious platform. There was a very ordinary coffin placed on the platform. There was a corpse lying vaguely in the coffin, but even the 9 Magatama Rinnegan could not see through the corpse. All that could be seen was the endless darkness next to the corpse. Seeing this, Qixing swung his fist and hit the stone wall in front of him. The punch was thrown out, and there was an explosion, followed by a scream. Qixing was blown away 100 meters by the force he exerted. When Gigi saw Qixing like this, he asked inexplicably, "Human, what are you doing?" Qixing said angrily, "Nonsense, aren't you going in?" Oh, I saw Gigi reaching out and touching a stone in the corner, and then the black door opened automatically. Chapter 222 You want me to bleed profusely. Seeing this scene, Qixing was a little confused. You little thing, why didn't you tell me there was a mechanism here earlier? Human, Lord Gigi is a noble lord, how could I reveal my secret to you? I'll go, you're a noble lord, but with a little guy like you, who can you control? HMPH, this lord was very strong before 10,000 years, but now. How is it now? It's still a demo. I'm too lazy to pay attention to you. I'll go in first. After saying this, Gigi got in through the gap in the newly opened stone door. Qixing hugged Dandan and waited for the door to fully open before ducking into it. As soon as you enter this cave, you feel like you were in your mother's womb. It seems that there are countless gentle energies surrounding him, and even those energies that are completely compatible with the body are pouring into his body, and at this moment Qixing's strength is also slowly increasing. This discovery shocked Qixing. It was only after experiencing the wonder of this cave that Qixing began to look at the dark cave. Although the cave was dark, this kind of darkness was simply childish for a strong person like Qixing. At this time, Rinnegan kept looking around. This cave was not big, not much bigger than a football field. But the strange thing was that in such a spacious cave, apart from the weird energy floating in the air, there was only go down to the dark coffin in the center of the cave. The coffin seemed to have magic power, attracting people to come closer to him. Qixing felt something was wrong. He held his balls and wanted to retreat, but his balls began to tremble, as if he was unusually excited. What's even more strange is that this little thing Gigi is strutting close to the dark coffin at this moment. His expression didn't change at all. Still looking carefree. Qixing was also curious. Although he sensed danger, the system never prompted him. At this moment Qixing also slowly approached the coffin. In Qixing's eyes, this was just an ordinary coffin. There was a corpse lying in the coffin. The corpse was extremely complete, and the body and fingers were very red, as if it had just been laid down in the coffin. However, the man was obviously not breathing, and even his heartbeat and pulse had stopped. But even the 9 Magatama Rinnegan could not clearly see the specific appearance of the corpse. He could only vaguely confirm that it was a female corpse, and its strength during life was probably beyond the ability of Qixing to guess. Qixing could only retract his gaze, but Dandan was not happy anymore and was trembling crazily, as if he would jump onto the coffin in the next second. It's a pity that he is just an egg and has no ability to move. Otherwise, it would probably turn upside down. Just when Qixing turned around and wanted to leave, something was stirring in the space within Qixing's body. When Nanahoshi took out a ball, he discovered that it was the complete soul of Otsutsuki Kagaya that had been preserved by Ichiraku's memory clone. The soul that was sealed by Qixing at that time and should have fallen into deep sleep now opened its eyes and looked at the corpse in front of him with a longing look. Kagaya's soul didn't talk too much, but made a deal with Qixing. Junior, you are very good. You actually used my body to break through the threshold of the immortal level. Your talent is enviable. Even the strongest genius in my Otsutsuki clan will not have the opportunity to break through this realm until the age of 25. Quote. Since you are not afraid of breaking through too quickly and causing the foundation to become unstable, how about we make a deal? Advertisement. Qixing did not ask him how he broke through the seal, because Qixing knew that at the level of immortal, ordinary seals could not trap a strong person at the immortal level forever. Tell me what the deal is. You help me get this body, and I will give you the key to transcendence here, as well as all the adaptive energy here, which will at least allow you to break through to the peak of the immortal level in a short period of time. How about that? Haha, you have a great idea. This body is at least 7 levels above. If you get it, you might kill me first with your backhand. Why should I trust you? I can swear that I will never hurt you. Senior, you are also a descendant of my Otsutsuki clan. You can't help but feel that the power of the Otsutsuki clan's blood in this corpse is extremely strong. As long as I get this body, I can make an exception and activate the divine power of my Otsutsuki clan for you. Wow, it's really tempting. But it's useless no matter how much you say, unless you sign this contract. I will promise to help you get this body, how about it? Saying that, Qixing threw out the contract in his hand. Seeing this, Kagayaji's soul was furious. You are crazy, you want to enslave my noble Otsutsuki clan. Haha, don't say it so harshly. It's not slavery, it's just mutual cooperation and a win-win situation. Think about it, what you get may be a divine corpse. This restriction seems insignificant to a god. When you regain your strength, What other contract can bind you? Hearing this, Kagaya fell into deep thought. This boy is right. Divine power is the most powerful force, and the power of contract under transcendence cannot restrain the power of God. But this boy is so confident, he must have backhand. Although I don't believe you can get a contract that binds God, but just in case, I would like to add one more clause. You cannot restrict my personal freedom. Qixing hurriedly said. This is no problem, but since you added one, I must also add one. When I am in danger, you must do your best to help me. The two sides finally reached an agreement on this issue. Kagaya breathed out a breath of soul energy and stamped it on the contract, and a golden light suddenly passed into Kagaya soul. At this moment, the divine contract and the spiritual contract were officially reached. And such a scroll is 10 times more expensive than the ordinary scroll signed by the Manyu king. As for why Qixing would waste so many points to redeem such a 1-point scroll, it was because the system brother had already reminded Qixing that the corpse in front of him was the 9th level peak transcendent corpse of the Otsutsuki clan. It's only one step away from reaching the divine level. Such a corpse, coupled with Kagaya Otsutsuki, the purest soul of the Otsutsuki clan, will definitely yield a super thug. But Kagaya doesn't know that the contract of the 7 stars can not only restrain gods, but even strong men above the god level can't escape after signing his contract. However, the most terrifying thing about this contract is not the binding force, but that from the moment the soul contract is signed, the mind of the person being signed is subtly accepting Qixing as the person closest to him. Even God is no exception. Ding! Congratulations to host, for gaining the allegiance of Kagaya's complete soul. Close black lens bracket. Hearing this prompt, Qixing looked at Kagaya's soul and smiled. How do you get into this female corpse? Kagaya didn't know what Qixing was thinking. She just looked deeply at Qixing's face and said, it takes the blood power of the Otsutsuki clan, even if it is weak, to activate the resonance and let me enter it. Qixing was stunned for a moment when he heard these words, and then he came to his senses. Wu Sao, you want me to bleed profusely. Chapter 223 The powerful female corpse awakens. Seeing Qixing's reaction, Kagaya said disdainfully, why, you want to regret it. You didn't say you wanted to bleed me just now. HMPH, if you want to gain something, you have to give in. Boy, don't you understand this? Well said, how much blood is needed? Tell me. Well, considering that your Otsutsuki clan's bloodline is already very thin, you should put more in it. I don't know exactly how much is needed. After all, I have never seen a Otsutsuki clan whose bloodline power is lower than yours. Me, Wukao, why do I feel like you are mocking me? Forget it. In order to get more powerful thugs, I'll endure it. As the words fell, a wound on Qixing's palm was cut open by an invisible force, and blood fell on the female corpse. In an instant, the blood soaked the clothes of the female corpse. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. As time passed, Qixing began to doubt that this could be successful. Sir, I've already drained almost half a caddy of blood. If I continue like this, I may die of anemia. Hey, are you okay, Sister Kagaya? At this moment, Kagaya had no time to pay attention to Nanahoshi. He was concentrating on trying to enter this body, but it was obvious that Nanahoshi's Otsutsuki clan bloodline was too thin to resonate with this corpse. Datongu Kagaya was also very anxious. You put more, don't make the drips, the speed is too slow. I'm almost successful, work harder. Your uncle. When Qixing heard this, he almost vomited blood. I hope this kind of effort will yield big results, otherwise I will lose everything. He had no choice but to cut the artery. At this moment, Qixing's blood surged and sprayed on the female corpse in bunches. Just when Qixing's face turned pale and he lost too much blood, the female corpse finally responded. The female corpse seemed to open its eyes, and a green light shot towards Kagaya's soul. The next moment, Kagaya's soul disappeared. The female corpse also closed her eyes again. But after waiting for half an hour, the female corpse showed no change at all. Qixing became anxious. Damn it, I'm almost drained of blood, so you can play with me and eat it all up. Although he is bound by a contract, it is useless to restrain a thug who cannot wake up. Although Nanahoshi had lost a lot of blood at this moment, he still struggled to ride on the coffin, tapping left and right, hoping to awaken Kagaya's soul. It's a pity that Qixing is destined to be disappointed. No matter how Qixing moves, this female corpse doesn't react at all. At this moment Qixing thought of the system. Brother system, how much will it cost to wake up this female corpse? Ding! More than 50,000 points are required. Close black lens bracket. I'll go, the price is too high. Just when Qixing was depressed, Gigi noticed Qixing's embarrassment and looked at Qixing with disdain. Human, why don't you ask Lord Gigi for help at this time? If that soul doesn't wake up, I'm afraid it will be assimilated by this corpse. When the time comes, your efforts will be empty. Hearing this, Qixing knew that this thing had a solution. Hey, smart little green, do you have any good ideas? Can you help me? Advertisement. Snort. Hearing this cold snort, Qixing knew that this arrogant guy had nothing to gain, so he immediately took out an alpine lollipop and placed it in front of Gigi. Shake twice. Gigi didn't know what it was at first, but when Qixing opened the package, a sweet breeze blew into her face. Gigi immediately ran and grabbed the lollipop. Crazy licking. The soft green tongue was beating rapidly, with saliva splashing from time to time. But Qixing doesn't follow martial arts ethics. When he saw that Gigi had been fooled, he immediately took away the lollipop. At this moment, Gigi was unhappy. How dare you, human, take away Lord Gigi's food. You made Lord Gigi angry. Even if you take out twice as much food, Gigi won't help you. Haha, really? Hearing this, Qixing took out 4 lollipops again. Hee hee. If you take action and wake up this female corpse, these 5 lollipops will be yours. Now, seeing the 5 lollipops in Qixing's hand, Lord Gigi was obviously moved, and immediately forgot all about the oath he had just made. Okay, since you are my friend, I will help you this time. After saying that, Gigi jumped onto the coffin and immediately spit out a stream of green smoke. The smoke seemed to be spiritual and penetrated from the female corpse's nose. In less than 10 seconds, the female corpse's fingers began to move, and then her eyes opened again. And the first person he saw was Qixing's handsome face. At this time, the female corpse woke up, and the power of nothingness on the face gradually disappeared. When Qixing saw the female corpse's face clearly, her heart beat rapidly, and it felt like a heartbeat. As for the face of this female corpse, the words, "love the country and the city," are not enough to describe her appearance. At this moment, the female corpse held up the coffin board and slowly sat up. There are actually 12 magatama in the white pupils of the eyes. The magatama is spinning. It releases some kind of power. The female corpse looked at Qixing and said, "Who are you? Your name seems to be Nanahoshi, right? Uchiha clan. What kind of race is that? But you still have the rare blood of my Otsutsuki clan. Whose descendant are you?" Looking at this delicate face, Qixing couldn't help but reply, "I belong to a branch of the Otsutsuki clan, which should be considered a bloodline branch of Kagaya Otatsuki." Kagaya? I haven't heard of it. Maybe he is a descendant who was born after my death. Hey, there was actually a divine ban in that soul just now. Was it you who placed it? Yes, it was me. Can that be lifted? Of course, but, before the words could be spoken, a cold feeling rushed from the soles of his feet to the top of Qixing's head. At this moment, Qixing finally heard the notification sound from the system. Ding! Host was bewitched by technique and fell into an uncontrollable state, which lasted for 1 minute. Close black lens bracket. Ding! Host was bewitched by technique and fell into a state of extreme admiration, which lasted for 1 minute. Close black lens bracket. Ding! Host was confused by technique and fell into a state of answering questions for 1 minute. Close black lens bracket. Ding! The system detects that the host cannot release the illusion by itself, and forcibly separates the host from the illusion. Close black lens bracket. Ding! The system is forced to strip off the host, and it will automatically consume 10,000 points to purchase an illusion-resistant scroll. Close black lens bracket. Ding! The host's consciousness is successfully stripped away, and the host is temporarily out of the control of the illusion. Close black lens bracket. At this moment, Qixing finally saw the true face of this female corpse. Although she was not ugly, she was not very beautiful either. She just exuded the aura of a superior person. Moreover, the gentle forces around him were originally burrowing into Qixing's body, but now they are all pouring into the body of this female corpse crazily. Chapter 224 Otsutsuki's disappearance. At this moment, the female corpse started from super cage level and was improving by a small level every 10 seconds. However, the female corpse who was making a breakthrough suddenly caught a glimpse of Qixing. She was surprised that she had broken away from her favorite illusion in just 2 breaths. Boy, how did you do that? Qixing just snorted coldly and didn't say much. Just listen to the female corpse say, "I really didn't expect that the Otsutsuki clan would have a descendant as talented as you. How about it, little guy? Do you want to follow me?" "Follow you? It's ridiculous. You are under my control now and you don't realize it. Shouldn't it be me who does the job of recruiting people? You said I was controlled by you. With your early immortal level strength, how can you control me? Do you really think that the restriction just now can do anything to me? I even only need one hand to hold you easily. Really? Then you try." Hearing Qixing's arrogant words, the female corpse's eyes gradually turned cold. "You little beast, you are looking for death." As soon as he said this, the surrounding temperature suddenly dropped to freezing point. The female corpse's strength at this time has returned to the immortal level. A terrifying ball of energy from his mouth was sprayed towards the 7 stars. Qixing didn't make any move when he saw this, he just muttered a Sanskrit mantra, Euro section N. Immediately, not only the ball of light emitted by the female corpse dissipated in the air, but also the female corpse at this moment fell on the coffin board, covering her head with her left hand, panting heavily, stretched out her right hand and pointed at Qixing. "You be asterisk 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 D, you what exactly did you do to my body?" Obviously, the female corpse's brain was suffering inhuman pain. "Haha, I just said that you are under my control. You don't believe it. Kid, do you think you'll win like this? Do you know that my residual soul has merged with the complete soul body just now? As long as he doesn't die, I will be resurrected again." Quote. "That Otatsuki Kagaya will be a Otsutsuki from now on, ha 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 ha. Just wait, I will come out again when this physical body's strength returns to its peak, and that will be the day of your death." Qixing didn't want to think so much. He chanted the incantation in his mouth faster and faster, and the power of the contract suddenly rushed out of the female corpse. There was a loud bang, and the coffin was shattered into pieces. And the female corpse roared crazily at the end. You brat, you will regret it. The next moment, the 12 Magatama Rinnegan of the female corpse disappeared, leaving only 2 simple white eyes. Qixing was wary of the female corpse. When the female corpse looked at Qixing, Qixing took 2 steps back. A gentle voice came out. Junior, thank you very much, don't be so nervous. I'm out of that guy's control. I'm sorry, I couldn't fully control this body. I didn't expect that there is a remnant soul in this body. His strength is terrifying, but he did not choose to devour me, but merged with my soul. The longer time goes by, the less I can get rid of him. I'm afraid you will be in trouble in the future. At this moment, even Qixing did not expect that there was actually a remnant soul that transcended the 9th level hidden in this corpse. Grandma, it was my miscalculation. Advertisement. But the remnant soul seems to know people from the Otsutsuki clan. Yes, she is the ancestor of my Otsutsuki clan and the most powerful traitor in the Otsutsuki clan. She was killed by Lord Shenji herself, but why is her body here? Hearing this, Qixing was shocked and said, what, that kind of strong man who transcends the 9th level is a traitor to the Otsutsuki clan? Is there a god-level strong man in your Otsutsuki clan? The strongest person 1,000 years ago was only at the 9th level of transcendence. However, it is recorded in the history books that the ancestor of my Otsutsuki clan was at the god level, and his name was also the Otsutsuki god style. And this clan judge is the wife of our ancestor. Her name is Otsutsuki Jian Li. It is recorded in the history books that the ancestors killed him with their own hands a few 10,000 years ago. It is said that the body was exiled to a small newborn world. But how come the body is so well preserved? And it also appears in the tomb of the gods in the Pure Land world. You ask me, I'll ask who's going to go. I'm more confused than you, right? Regardless of why that guy's body is here, let's fulfill your promise first. Promise, this is not considered a success. And it also leaves a lot of hidden dangers. The remnant soul is not so easy to kill. It will still exist for 10,000 years. It cannot be eliminated in a short time. Besides, a lot of his knowledge is of great use to me, so I'll take my time. But don't worry, I won't break my promise to you. Saying this, the female corpse stood up. Now Kagaya Haim was in charge of the body, and held her big hand, and the gentle energy in this space instantly condensed into a projectile. Kagaya Ji threw it to Qixing casually. Eat it. This is the power of 10,000 years provided by the remnant soul. As long as he eats it, he can instantly regain 2 levels of strength. Now it's easier for you. Qixing took the projectile and the system prompt came. Ding, congratulations to host for obtaining the mild divine power crystal fragment. Slowly absorbed. If instant absorption is required, 10,000 points can be consumed. Will the host absorb it immediately? Close black lens bracket. 10,000 is 10,000, absorb it immediately, you can't wait that long. Ding, congratulations to host, for absorbing the mild divine power crystal fragments. Close black lens bracket. As soon as the system prompts fell, the aura around Qixing began to rise. Buzz buzz. Circles of energy ripples surged out of Qixing's body. Terrifying air waves exploded around the 7 stars. The realm of Qixing also reached the middle stage of immortal level in an instant. However, only most of the crystals were consumed, and the remaining crystallized 7 stars did not choose to be absorbed quickly, but were stored in the body, slowly increasing the strength of the 7 stars. Seeing that Qixing had absorbed the crystal so quickly, Kagaya couldn't help but smack her tongue. Although it's just the energy transformed from the fragments of the divine power crystal, I didn't expect you to be able to absorb it. If it weren't for the memory of this body, I would have even thought it was of course. After seeing you absorb such a large piece of divine power crystal in an instant, I realized that you were really different. Different from ordinary people. Okay, stop talking nonsense. So what if it's different? Is there anything else that can improve my strength? This is a body that is close to a god, is that all? Oh, I know you are very ambitious. Of course you do. In the memory of the remnant soul of this female corpse, there is a large soul stone vein under the coffin. Otherwise, no matter how strong the female corpse is, it would be impossible to store 10,000 years in an ordinary place. Just lost my mind. Soul stone vein. I finally found it. When Dandan heard this, he started to tremble with excitement. Because if there really is a soul stone vein, it can be born. However, there is one thing you seem to have failed to do before that. Kagaya. Chapter 225. Bloodline Improvement, 4th level of Super Race, Super Blue. At this time, Qixing's name for Kagaya Haim changed, because Kagaya Haim has not only become Qixing's strongest fighter, but her strength has returned to the 1st level of transcendence. This is also the respect due to the strong. Moreover, for this 1st level of transcendence, he had to give all the energy emitted from the fragments of the divine power crystal to Qixing, otherwise he would recover faster. Kagaya Haim is confused. What's the matter? Didn't you just say that you wanted to help me unlock the divine power of the Otsutsuki clan? And it's time to give me the key to transcendence. The key to transcendence can be given to you, take it. As he spoke, a golden key that resembled an ancient key appeared in Qixing's hand. The cold touch on it and the terrifying energy escaping were enough to show how extraordinary he was. But Junior, I just lied to you. I'm sorry, I didn't know at first that the bloodline of your Otsutsuki clan was so thin. If I knew, I would never say those words. Quote. You'd better change your request. Oh, you have to break your promise. This, after much consideration, Kagaya reluctantly agreed. I can only say try it. I will force out a drop of the divine blood from this body and integrate it into your body. As for whether you can activate the divine power of the Otsutsuki clan, I can't guarantee it. Okay, just do what you have to do. Hearing this, Kagaya sat down cross-legged. It would have been easy to force out the blood essence, but after all, this body was not his own, and his consciousness and soul were still very incompatible with this body. At this time, Kagayaji's body began to tremble, and she seemed to be resisting the loss of blood and essence in her body, but she couldn't help it and began to fight desperately, struggling to break off several of his inner palaces. Finally Kagaya made a pop, and a mouthful of old blood spurted out, mixed with a drop of golden blood essence. And from this drop of golden blood essence, a roar came out, you two will not die well, I will definitely kill you when I come out. Qixing curled his lips after hearing this, we'll talk about it later when you have the ability to come out. Then he opened his big mouth and swallowed the drop of golden blood in one gulp. As soon as the golden essence and blood entered the throat, it melted away instantly. A terrifying force traveled down the throat and entered Qixing's 8 meridians. A strange force is awakening in the body. The physical pain began to distort Qixing's face. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. For half an hour, Qixing's body also twitched. Finally, after Qixing exhaled the last breath of turbid air, the blood in his body began to boil. Waves of golden flames surrounded Qixing. Then the golden flames spread out and turned into green. The green flames rushed straight to Qixing's head from under his feet, followed by green. The hair shot up into the sky, but it was not over yet. After the green flames dissipated, black magic thunder began to wrap around Qixing's body. The terrifying momentum became stronger and stronger, making the surrounding earth and rocks crackle. Seeing this scene, Kagaya-ji was a little surprised. Why did this guy suddenly improve so much in strength? He should be gone. I thought everything would end like this. But the next moment, there was only a click in Qixing's body, as if something broke out of his body. The surrounding unknown energy keeps pouring into Qixing's body, and the energy of nature keeps gathering, as if there is no end. Finally, at a certain moment, the golden blood was completely absorbed by Qixing, and all the various colored auras around Qixing began to disappear, replaced by only one color aura. Then dye blue. Blue covered the 7 stars from head to toe, and terrifying blue flames soared into the sky. Advertisement. Kagaya-ji was shocked for the first time after obtaining this 9th level body. What kind of power is this that can rival divine power? At this moment, Qixing, through that drop of golden blood, finally developed his Super Saiyan bloodline to the 4th stage. At the same time, the system prompt tone also sounds. Ding, congratulations to host, you have obtained the divine power and blood of the Otsutsuki clan. Close black lens bracket. Ding, congratulations to host, you have absorbed the blood and essence of the Otsutsuki clan's gods, increased your physical strength, and unlocked the power of the Otsutsuki clan's gods. Close black lens bracket. Ding, congratulations to host, the power of the gods of the Otsutsuki clan has been assimilated into the Super Saiyan bloodline, and the Super Saiyan bloodline has been sublimated. Close black lens bracket. Ding, congratulations to host, the bloodline fusion degree of Super Saiyan reached 41%. Start the 4th phase of the Super Series transformation. Super Blue. Close black lens bracket. Ding, congratulations to host, your strength has been sublimated and your realm has been promoted to the late fairy level. Close black lens bracket. At this moment, Qixing finally has the power to protect himself in this Pure Land world. The strength of the late immortal level plus Super Blue can at least increase Qixing's combat effectiveness to the 4th level of transcendence. Qixing, who was excited at this moment, looked at his attribute panel. Host, Uchiha Qixing. Age, 24 years old. Realm, late immortal level. Combat power, peak of immortal level, level 4 transcendence. Talent, transform into 4 Super Saiyan forms, the highest being Super Blue. Bloodline development degree is 41%. Ninja skills. Grandmaster's various attributes of CS level ninjutsu. The ceiling formations at each stage. Eye abilities. Rinnegan, revolving heavenly eyes, twin Kamui, distinguished heavenly gods. Ultra distance exploration. Other world skills. Purple lightning crazy thunder, purple lightning crazy dragon slash, sky fire crazy thunder. 10,000 thunders, heavenly prison, and dance air skill, level 9. 8 miracles, the divine machine is refined over time, and the spirit is used to dispatch generals. The wind is swift, thunder and fire formation, array. Yin and yang 8 desolations heaven reaching formation. External incarnation. Qi, special ability, swallowing the sky, can absorb energy evolution of any attribute, unlimited. Items. Various strange small objects from all over the world, and Wanji Mall products. Domain. Infinite airspace, 1st level, coverage range is 1000 meters. Infinite airspace. Lay out countless space areas, folded space, around itself, the size is variable. At the first level, it can lay out millions of space areas in a space of up to 1,000 meters. When the distance between you and the enemy is only 1 foot, the distance between you is actually infinite. The infinite distance at the first level is 1 light year at most. Close black lens bracket. Points. 190,000 over 1 million. Commonly used weapons. 7-star demon sword, sky-breaking painted halberd, Valkyrie's soft armor, Deluo Tianyan mask. Open black lens bracket Deluo Tianyan. It can be upgraded. Upgrading requires the consumption of materials or items of the same level. Deluo Tianyan can change in many ways. After wearing it, it can absorb an energy attack several times greater than itself once a day. You can also transform into any creature you have seen. The larger the size, the greater the consumption. You can also transform between the spirit body and the physical body. Special ability. All things. After turning it on, you can let the other party see the person you want to see most in your heart. Please use host with caution. Close black lens bracket. Seeing his late-stage immortal level strength and feeling the power of his body and blood, Qixing was already full of confidence. He then reached out and touched his right eye and chuckled, "Finally, I can use this eye without any consumption or restrictions." Quote. My 9 Magatama Reincarnation Distinguished Heavenly Gods. Chapter 226 Upgraded 7-Color Element Devouring Beast. It is precisely because the strength has been improved to this point that Qixing can finally use the 9 Magatama to reincarnate distinguished heavenly gods without any restrictions. The hunting will begin soon. I, the 7 stars, will control all the 9 guards of the 4 kingdoms. At that time, all the Pure Land strongmen will return. As long as my strength increases rapidly, I can kill Shinigami and overthrow the heavens. Then the Pure Land will be under my control. Middle. Just when Qixing put aside his lustful thoughts and imagined the future. The balls in Qixing's arms began to vibrate, as if blaming Qixing, "You haven't entered a large mine after a long time. What are you doing? I'm still waiting to be born." Only then did Qixing wake up and said, "Let's go, Mr. Kagaya, let's go down and have a look together." As she spoke, Kagaya waved her hand and lifted the bottom of the coffin, revealing a large dark hole. There was a trace of soul power leaking out of the big cave. Qixing couldn't wait to jump down. Kagaya and Gigi followed closely behind. I thought that this big hole was not very deep, but Qixing fell for a full minute without reaching the bottom, so I could only use swift wind to speed up the fall. At this moment, Qixing is falling faster than the speed of sound, but little guy Gigi, no matter how fast Qixing is, he can keep up. Kagaya can do this, Qixing is not surprised, but Gigi, the green-skinned monster, can do this. A bit, but it was beyond Qixing's expectation. What kind of breed are you, Gigi? Hearing this, Gigi turned back and rolled his eyes at Qixing, then accelerated his body again and disappeared beside Qixing. At this moment, Qixing understood that this little thing Gigi was not as simple as it appeared. He must have caught it on purpose, otherwise with the speed it showed just now, even the current Qixing could easily catch it. Just when Qixing was thinking about Gigi's conspiracy, his eyes suddenly became clear. I saw crystal clear black and white stones hanging on the wall. That quantity can no longer be measured in numbers. Dandan felt the terrifying soul power and was inexplicably excited. Countless formations began to appear on Dan's body, and the formations were swimming around Dan's body like ants. All the soul power stones within 1,000 meters were instantly absorbed by Dandan. The black and white stones hanging on the wall originally had a crystal clear luster, but now they have all turned into ordinary stones with no luster at all. However, Dandan was not satisfied yet. He wanted more. He slowly lifted into the air and was suspended at a height of 3 meters. Qixing did not stop him, but quietly took a few steps back. The soul stones farther away began to vibrate, flying towards Dandan one by one. At the beginning of Qizhou, he was a little worried that these soul stones would break Dandan, but it was obvious that he was overthinking. The idiom, egg-hitting stone, is impossible to have any effect when applied to Dandan. At this moment, the soul stones are gathering more and more. The eggs that were originally only the size of a palm have now turned into an egg the size of a millstone. The egg's body was still trembling, and there were countless soul stones flying towards the egg like moths to a flame. This situation lasted for a full hour, and there was already a mountain of soul lime under the egg. Advertisement. Sudden. The balls the size of a millstone stopped shaking, but somewhere Qixing didn't notice, a crack suddenly appeared. The crack gradually grew larger, and green light emerged from the crack. Immediately, a small hand with 3 claws pushed open the eggshell and stretched it out. The gray little claw touched the left hand and tapped the right hand, as if to confirm something. The next moment, another little claw also explored. It came out, but the strange thing is that the color of this claw is completely different from the previous one, it is blue. As time went by, the 2 calf claws also stretched out from the egg body, but the colors of the 2 leg claws were also different, with the left side red and the right cyan. However, when the little thing's head popped out, Qixing thought it was a cross between a unicorn and a panda, because the little thing looked very much like a young unicorn, but strangely, one of its eye sockets was black, and the other was black. Only the eye sockets turned out to be white. And the little antlers growing on its head are very cute. But the most eye-catching thing is that the dull hair on the top of his head is green. What kind of creature is this? It grows so randomly. What comes out of such a big egg is something like this? What exactly is this? System, please give me an explanation. Ding. Target. Upgraded 7-color element devouring beast. Also known as Yuan beast. This beast consists of gray, blue, red, green, black, white and green. Composed of 7 colors, corresponding to 7 different elements: earth, water, fire, thunder, yin, yang, and wood. At the same time, due to absorbing too many soul power stones, the beast's soul and body were strengthened in all directions, and its strength was greatly improved. When he was born, he was still in his infancy, and he already had the power of the early 6 paths level. Close black lens bracket. In the fully mature stage, one can reach the 9th level of transcendence. Close black lens bracket. Talent. Hungry food, can devour objects with various energies, including spells formed from energy. Close black lens bracket. Talent. Rapid growth, as long as there is enough energy, you can quickly enter the growth stage from infancy. Close black lens bracket. Just as Qixing was looking at Dandan's information, Gigi got mad for some reason and started to crazily eat the eggshell from which Dandan was born. Of course Dandan was not happy when he saw Gigi stealing his own eggshells. Instead of fighting, the two guys started competing to see who could eat more. Although Qixing was very depressed that only such a small thing came out of such a big egg, this guy grew up to be very strong. At this moment, a whole eggshell the size of a millstone was eaten into the stomachs of 2 palm-sized foodies in just a few minutes. Not to mention that Qixing found it incredible, even Kagaya was amazed. None of these 2 little things are simple. One was born at 6 paths level, and the other is just a Jonin with a physique, but his speed exceeds the peak of immortal level. They are all not strong, but they all have their own uniqueness. At this moment, Gigi was holding his belly. A 7-color halo appeared all over his body because he had eaten the eggshell of the Yuan devouring beast. He was digesting the eggshells in his stomach with a look of enjoyment. But Dandan was depressed. Why should my eggshell be eaten by this green-skinned guy? The little paw pointed at Gigi, as if he wanted to go up and beat him. Qixing also saw Dandan's displeasure and said, "Don't be angry Dandan, all the soul stones in this entire mine are yours." When Dandan heard this, his little face that had fallen down just now suddenly revealed with an excited expression on his face. He immediately ran to the depths of the mine and ate the soul stone. At this time, Gigi, who looked like he was enjoying himself, stood up and turned around to see the greedy element-eating beast absorbing the soul power stone. He immediately chased after him and was about to snatch the soul power stone from Dandan again. A small hand kept pulling at the wall, and stuffing stones into his mouth from time to time. At this moment, the gluttonous duo was officially formed. Chapter 227 The Avenue to Heaven Formation. Watching the 2 little guys playing around, Qixing looked at Kagaya helplessly and said, "Just wait until those 2 guys finish making trouble before we go up. You also need to recover your strength first." Kagaya nodded and sat cross-legged. Nanahoshi took out a fairy bean and handed it to Kagaya. "Eat it, your body has not moved for 10,000 years, and these beans happen to work well." Kagaya was also very surprised when she saw this magical bean. Such a small bean, but it contains so much energy, which is very similar to the seeds of the world tree. Sacred tree. Qixing couldn't help but smile after hearing this. "Really, maybe you are right, eat it first. You only need 1 bean, which can not only restore the loss quickly, but also do not need to eat any energy food for at least 3 days. Although at this stage we have reduced the intake of ordinary food as much as possible, sometimes the energy in food is more easily absorbed by the body. And my beans are said to be food grown by gods, and they also contain a trace of God's power. Although I can't feel it now, I believe that the person who gave me these beans will not deceive me." Hearing this, Kagaya was shocked and said, "What? Beans grown by God-level experts? They contain a trace of divine power. You didn't lie to me." "Of course not. You will know if it is true if you try it. This body of yours is at the 9th level of transcendence. You should be the most aware of it." But before Qixing could finish speaking, Kagaya put her jade hand into her mouth. Gurgling and swallowing, the beans continued to release energy in Kagaya's body. Kagaya, who had already returned to the 1st level of transcendence, actually broke through 3 small realms in just 3 breaths. At this moment, Kagaya's beautiful face showed a trace of blush, which was probably caused by excitement. And at a certain moment, Kagaya's face showed an evil smile for a second or two. Qixing has been watching all this. He knows that when Kagaya's strength returns to the 9th level of transcendence, Otsutsuki will appear again, so Qixing must break through to the transcendence level before that guy appears. Only in this way can we have capital and not die easily in the hands of Jia. And just when Nanahoshi and Kagaya were recovering their strength in the mine. On the other side, on the ground, at the edge of the Forest of Gods, a team battle is about to break out. At this time, there were 7 or 8 people on both sides, and the aura around each person had climbed to the top. The weapons in their hands were at worst spiritual weapon level, and the 2 leading figures were the most terrifying. Not only did their own strength reach transcendence, at the 2nd level, even the weapons in his hands are the pinnacle artifacts. The 2 sides' breaths collided, and the trees within a radius of 10,000 meters had already been bent. The ones closer were even more miserable, and even the leaves of the trees had been pressed into the soil. But the strange thing is that in the middle of the dozen or so people, there is a red coffin placed smoothly. The top of the coffin has been blown off by someone, and it is missing. Inside the coffin, a boy's corpse with white hair and a childlike face is lying peacefully. Lie in it. At this moment, the whole body of the male corpse was constantly releasing dense rays of light from its pores. The rays of light formed a halo rhythmically, protecting the male corpse. Advertisement. Even though there were a dozen or so people around them confronting each other, even though the second level aura was powerful enough to make the ground collapse, only the male corpse and the coffin were not damaged at all. At this time, facing both sides, an old man wearing a gray cloud robe and a three-color hair crown was heard saying, "I didn't expect that the 9 fire guards and the leader of the fire guards, Yan Linglong, would appear in the same place at the same time. You really spent a lot of money. I'm afraid you will take out all Yang Shen's bosses this time." The leader of the fire guards, Yan Linglong, heard the old man's sarcasm and said disdainfully, "Yan Shisen, I didn't expect that you only gathered 5 people from the 9 underworld guards. Didn't I hear that you and the 9 underworld guards are spiritually connected? Really? Is this just a joke? If Hades knew that you were doing something bad, would he kill you? You, little girl is so smooth. Even if I only have 6 of you today, I can still kill 10 of you here." As soon as he finished speaking, the 5 people behind the old man made strange handprints at the same time, and the handprints slammed on the ground. The next moment, 6 masked weirdos with talismans suddenly appeared from the ground beside the 6 people. The weirdo stood in front of the 6 people without saying a word. The leader of the fire guards, Yan Linglong, was surprised when he saw the 6 guys with the talismans. Is Hades crazy? He even sent out the 9 corpse guards. That is his last trump card. Could it be that Hades is crazy? Breaking through to the same level as Shinigami. Otherwise there would be no reason for him to do this. Hearing this, the old man Yan Shisen laughed and said, "The little girl is really smart, but even if you guessed everything, you are destined to stay here today. You will never go back. HMPH. Do you think you will win? Fire Guard, formation of endless life." Upon hearing this, the 9 fire guardians instantly shifted their positions. 9 people stood in 8 directions at the same time, with 1 person standing in the center. When the 9 people raised their fingers at the same time, white light lit up on all 9 people at the same time. At this time, the old man led the 5 Hades guards and attacked together with the 5 corpse guards. 9 fire guards and 10 Hades guards from both sides started a shocking battle around the male corpse in the coffin. I saw that the 5 great underworlds cooperated tacitly, and the 5 people simultaneously emitted 5 black energy waves. When the energy waves spread around the corpse guards, the bodies of the 5 great corpse guards quickly grew in size, reaching 50 meters in an instant. Immediately, 5 5-meter large fists hit the formation of the 9 fire guards at the same time, with a click and a bang. Cracks appeared on the fists of the 5 corpse guards one after another, and the 9 fire guards' endless life formation was operating. The 9 people withstood this heavy blow, and the damage was shared among the 9 people. 9 people spurted out a mouthful of old blood at the same time. Puff puff. It's just that this time it's a confrontation, and it can be seen that the combat power of both sides is evenly matched. But Yan Linglong, the leader of the fire guards, saw it and was anxious in his heart. He knew that there were only 5 members of the Hades guards, and the strongest leader of the Hades guards, Yan Shisen, did not take action. Although I didn't take action, I still have no chance of winning against the veteran second-level Transcendent Master. Could it be that this time I am going to fail in the battle for the Divine Corpse? Although there will be opportunities later, I think, even if I get to the Tomb of the Gods, the competition there is more intense than here, so I shouldn't back down this time. Thinking of this, Yan Linglong shouted loudly, "The 9 fire guards are forming a formation that leads to the sky. I am the eye of the formation, suppressing the heavens." Chapter 228. A palm move falling from the sky. After the words fell, the 9 fire guards spit out a mouthful of blood again. The 9 mouthfuls of blood flew in the air, spinning, and then the blood spread in the air, drawing strange talismans. Fu Zhuan only stayed in the air for a moment, and then quickly submerged into the body of the 9 fire guardians. At this moment, the faces of the 9 people were distorted, as if they were suffering great pain, and their bodies also appeared in blood at the same time. The 9 blood lights were connected together, and instantly formed the veins of the human body in the void. In just a few breaths, a bloody giant appeared instantly and enveloped the 9 people. At this moment, the expressions of the 9 people began to become dull, and it seemed that they all gave the initiative to Yan Linglong in the eyes of the formation. At this moment, Yan Linglong's delicate face already showed a sense of exhaustion, and there was a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth that was thirsty. He was breathing heavily in his mouth. It was obvious that as a formation he was suffering more pain. I saw the cold light flashing in Yan's exquisite beautiful eyes, looking at the 5 underworld guards and the 5 corpse guards, and heard them shout loudly, "The great road reaches the sky, the divine power is boundless, the great summoning technique, the virtual spirit comes to the world." Condensation. The giant, which was still growing veins rapidly, instantly became solid. Although the whole body is still blood red, it already has the outline of a human being. And when Yan Shisen, the commander of the underworld guard, saw the bloody giant, he exclaimed, "That old guy, the attendant of fire, the name of the leader of Xuanji Kingdom, actually gave you the incarnation of his magical power to bring in." Sure enough, everyone has discovered that this secret realm has become different. If that's the case, maybe those few people will come in here too. After all, not long after entering, they had already encountered a complete divine corpse. But before Yan Shisen could sigh, the terrifying attack from the bloody giant, which was over 100 meters tall, had already struck. Yan Shisen dodged upon seeing this and successfully escaped the attack of the bloody giant. However, the Hades guard next to him was not so lucky. He misjudged the lethality of this attack and was directly hammered into the ground by the bloody fist shadow. Deep. I don't know life or death. At this moment, Yan Linglong's eyes were flashing with cold light. Before the other Hades guards and corpse guards could dodge, the bloody giant spurted out an invisible airflow from its big mouth. The airflow turned into an invisible sharp sword in the air, and slashed at Hades with 3 swords in succession. When the 3 guards, the Hades guard and the corpse guard saw this, they all threw out their spiritual soldiers and shouted softly. Burst. Boom, boom. There was a loud noise, and the invisible sword immediately shattered. The corpse guard standing in front of him without any dodge was directly knocked away by the condensed aftereffects of the explosion. Several Hades guards also got a breather and retreated quickly. They wanted to join up with their leader Yan Shisen, but Yan Shisen had no intention of protecting these people. He put his left hand to his mouth and muttered something. His figure disappeared in front of several people, and the bloody figure behind them struck again with a terrifying attack. Several people increased their speed and wanted to dodge again, but this time, the 3 Hades were not so lucky. Their movements were pitifully slow in front of the giants summoned by the Tongtian formation. I saw the giant leaping across thousands of meters. With the overwhelming force of Mount High, the 3 Hades guards were trampled into the earth. At this moment, only the old man Yan Shisen was left among the 6 Hades guards, and he summoned the corpse guard. When the old man saw his men dead, he showed no mercy, but exclaimed, unexpectedly, the incarnation of the fire servant's magical power, so powerful. It has such a fast speed, it seems that it must use the treasure of Lord Hades. Just when Yan Shisen was thinking about countermeasures, the last corpse guard he summoned himself was crushed by the terrifying bloody giant. However, it seemed that the energy was consumed too quickly, and the giant's shadow was no longer as solid as before. Only the old man stood in the void, watching the battle just now and analyzing the situation of the battle. In the battlefield, after Yan Linglong, the leader of the fire guards, killed several people, his eyes were like fire, and he looked towards the void, where the old man Yan Shisen was standing. Why, if you don't want this divine corpse, then I'll accept it. Advertisement. Yan Shisen snorted coldly, ignorance. After saying that, Yan Shisen took out a golden Buddha statue that was emitting black gas. After muttering a few words in his mouth, the Buddha statue immediately grew in size, and finally turned into a 100-foot-long black-faced golden Buddha. The Buddha's shadow stretched out his right hand and pressed it downwards. At this moment, the color of the sky and the earth changed, and dark clouds covered the sky. A strong pressure pressed directly on the bloody figure. Yan Linglong saw the palm that fell from the sky and exclaimed, could this be the famous stunt of God of the underworld, the palm that fell from the sky in one move? God palm of Moro. But at this time, it was useless to scream. Even if you dodge, you can no longer escape the scope of the big hand, so you can only resist with all your strength. I saw a bloody figure. Inside, 9 fire guards, their eyes glowed. 9 people formed seals at the same time. 9 seals hit Yan Linglong's body one after another. At this moment, Yan Linglong's aura began to surge as if he had divine help. Even the bloody giant began to become more and more solid. I saw Yan Linglong stretching out his right hand with the palm facing up, and the bloody giant also made the same movement, only to hear him shout angrily, the Yang God holds the palm of the sky. Get up. As he exited the word, the big hand of the bloody giant separated from his body and flew towards the sky, and rapidly grew in size during the flight. 10 meters, 100 meters, 1000 meters. When the bloody giant palm grew to a height of 3000 meters, it finally collided with the divine palm of Namora. The world began to tremble at this moment, and everyone within a radius of thousands of miles heard a loud bang. Then the 2 palm powers exploded simultaneously with a roar. This power is enough to destroy the world. The area within 10,000 meters has been razed to the ground by the aftermath. An invisible storm instantly set off on the earth, and everything on the battlefield was buried in dust. But now on the other side of the battlefield, Hokage hugged Lord Gigi and flew out of the cave first. Qixing, who had just walked out of the cave, was holding the sleeping Yuan devouring beast with a bulging belly, and followed closely behind him. But as soon as he came out of the cave, he heard a muffled sound in the sky not far away, and then Qixing raised his head. Looking at the sky in the distance, I saw a huge ripple appearing in the sky. Upon seeing this, Hokage immediately shouted, go into the cave quickly. As soon as the words fell, Qixing saw that the ripples that radiated widely shrank suddenly, and the next moment exploded with a bang. A dazzling white light appeared in the sky, and wherever the white light shone, the void began to collapse. At this moment, everyone in the tomb of the gods all looked up at the gorgeous white light thousands of meters above the sky. I couldn't help but exclaim. This is the kind of damage that can only be caused by beings who are above the 7th level. Could it be that all the 5 kingdom lords have already come in? Also, since the god's tomb is open for the last time, there is no reason for those guys not to come in. Chapter 229 The Four Kings Enter the Tomb. Some people asked their companions around. Then should we join in the fun? Of course I have to go. You have to know that this kind of battle between strong men is rare. It is very likely that both sides will suffer losses. Maybe. At the same time, Qixing only had time to block the element-devouring beast in his face when the huge wind and sand blew, and then his body was pulled by Kagaya and flew back into the cave. At this moment, outside the cave, there was already a sky full of dust and broken wood, and a barren land with a radius of dozens of miles. Gigi's cheeks bulged with anger when she saw that her territory was destroyed like this. Which bad guy actually destroyed Lord Gigi's territory like this? I will definitely take revenge. As he spoke, he clenched his little fists to show that this could be done easily. After saying that, he didn't forget to look at Kagaya Haim's beautiful face, as if he wanted to get her support. Kagaya Haim also praised, Lord Gigi is the best lord and will definitely punish those bad guys who destroy the forest. Hearing the praise and affirmation, Gigi nodded crazily. At this time, the storm outside had subsided slightly, but the dust in the sky could not disperse in a short time. Seeing this, Qixing said, let's go over and see who it is that can have such great strength. After saying that, he took the lead and rushed forward, running towards the center of the explosion. Kagaya-ji could only follow Nanahoshi closely. At this moment, everyone who saw the explosion gathered towards the center of the explosion. Everyone wants to see who the god tier is, even though he has such strength, but more importantly, they want to find out. After all, if two strong powers fight, both sides will lose. Even if both sides don't suffer, maybe they can still owe a favor and make a lot of money. So no matter what, there is bound to be a chance to benefit. Just when everyone was heading towards the center of the explosion, there has been an explosion outside the Tomb of the Gods. Not only did the gate of the cemetery of the gods tremble twice just now, but everyone thought that the sacred tree was about to close. Instead, four unexpected figures appeared in front of the tomb door. These four people were dressed in luxurious clothes and had stately equipment. It was obvious at a glance that they had been in high positions for a long time. And these four people were recognized by everyone as soon as they appeared. These guys are the apparent controllers of this Pure Land world. The leader of the kingdom of Zan, the servant of Yangshanha. The lord of the kingdom of the underworld, King Yama, the god of the underworld. The leader of the country of Yuzan, Shinigami Yuzan Chungshan. The leader of the kingdom of Kama, the evil god Kame Wuya. At this time, the god of Hades looked at the fire attendant with an unkind expression, your little Linglong killed 5 of my underworld guards. It's time for you to give me an explanation. When Yang Shen heard this, don't you think it's funny? No matter whose person is left alone, he will definitely not hold back. After speaking, he deliberately looked at Shinigami and the evil god. HMPH, and I haven't even spoken to you yet, but you're going to beat me up. Advertisement. My flame commander's aura is now so weak that he is on the verge of life and death. I don't know what your intention is in sending 13 to the tomb this time, but don't forget the agreement between us. HMPH, I won't forget it, but please remember that Tiandao is not dead. If he comes out and collects the revolving heaven pool, our strength will not improve so quickly. You don't need to tell us that we all know, so this time the four of us went out together to seal him again. In 10 years, we will all have the opportunity to impact the supreme divine realm. Let's go. Talking. The four of them stepped lightly and quickly entered the cemetery of the gods. As soon as the four people left, commotion began on the ground. Just listen to those guys who haven't entered it yet, start to talk. How is it possible? These four people have never appeared together. Is there really something great and good in the tomb of the gods this time? Is it us? Don't you know? Hurry, everyone, hurry up and find a way to get in. This is a place where even the four kings have to enter. You can imagine how big of an opportunity this is, waiting for us. Some people's eyes turned green when they heard about the huge opportunity. Immediately find ways to enter this gate. At this moment, Miyakui Mountain became hot again. On the other side, Nanahoshi and Kagaya finally arrived at the center of the explosion after half an hour's journey. At the center of the explosion at this moment, only 2 people were still alive, and the rest were all dead. Moreover, these people were known to the 7 stars, including the 9 fire guardians and the 5 Hades guardians. Such powerful men in the late stage of the immortal level died in this explosion one after another. There was only Yan Linglong, who kept vomiting blood from her mouth, her clothes were in tatters, and all the places where leaks should be leaked were leaked. However, Qixing was not in the mood to enjoy the scenery at the moment, because Kagaya-ji, as a woman, could just wave her hand. He covered Yan Linglong's graceful body with a wide robe. Although the leader of Hades' guard was also seriously injured, he was many times better than Yan Linglong. He was just half kneeling on the ground, seemingly trying to hold himself up. It's just that all the bones in that guy's body were shattered in the explosion, unable to support the weight of his body at all. I saw Yan Shisen staring at the 7 stars in front of him, and he made a weak voice, little brother, I come to the kingdom of the underworld to lead Yan Shisen. You only need to take out the medicine in my package and feed it to me. I will remember your kindness, and I will grant you a high-level salary in the future, which is lower than that of 1 person and higher than that of 10,000 people. You will be respected by all living beings in the entire kingdom of the underworld. Oh, This sounds good. Where is your space hidden? Thank you, little brother. My space is in my index finger ring. The seal to open requires transcendent power. You can ask the lady next to you to help you. Oh, okay. I thought so too. After speaking, Qixing took off Yan Shisen's ring and threw it to Kagaya. Kagaya, this ring belongs to you from now on. Yan Shisen was stunned when he heard this. Little brother, have you misunderstood? I can give you all the things inside, but can you please give me the elixir to restore the injury? Qixing was walking towards Kagaya when he suddenly heard this and looked back at Yan Shisen. Looking at an idiot, he said softly, what if I say no? At this moment, Yan Shisen finally realized that he had been tricked and said angrily, boy, you are looking for death. I have sensed that the Lord of the Kingdom has entered the God's tomb, and he will find me in 10 minutes at most. If you help me now, I can forget about it. I can also give you the items in the ring, but if you persist not confused, enlightened. As soon as Yan Shisen said the word, enlightenment, Qixing threw a dimensional slash with his backhand, splitting Yan Shisen in half. Damn it, a dead man is still here beeping and making noise. Chapter 230 Kagaya is seriously injured. At this moment, Commander Yan really refused to close his eyes, looking at the horizon with longing eyes. Obviously the Lord of the Kingdom has come to the tomb of the gods, and I will be saved soon. Obviously I am the final winner. Why, I am not willing to accept this outcome. Finally, he lowered his head slowly and stared in the direction of Qixing with his eyes. Breathing stopped. At this moment, the body of Hades, who had just entered the tomb of the gods, was startled. How is it possible? Commander Yan's aura was very stable just now. Who has the courage to kill my leader of Hades' guards? After saying this, Hades ignored the three people behind him, flashed and flew directly in the direction of 7 stars. When the other 3 principals heard this, they were first surprised, and then pleasantly surprised. That guy's left arm was actually killed. It's really interesting. At this moment, the 3 of them looked at each other and understood each other, thinking that only their own subordinates could kill Commander Yan. In order to prevent his subordinates from being killed, he jumped out and quickly caught up with Hades. The scene turned and came to Qixing. Qixing didn't even look at the dead man, Commander Yan. He just looked at the coffin that was as stable as a mountain. Even after encountering such a horrific explosion, there was no damage at all. Qixing stepped forward, caressed the whole body of the coffin, and looked into the coffin. It turned out to be a young man with white hair and a childish face. Unfortunately, his chest was pierced by a sword. The blood on his white clothes was stained red. He was already thirsty, but his whole body was still glowing with spiritual light. Qixing couldn't help but sigh. What a severely injured body. Even in this state, it can easily withstand the aftermath of such a terrifying explosion. He is worthy of being a god-level powerhouse. I'm afraid only a god can kill Shinigami. After saying this, Qixing no longer hesitated and raised his hand to put the coffin into his own space. But the next moment, Qixing was stunned. When the powerful space method was used on the coffin, it was violently bounced away. Even Qixing's body was ejected thousands of meters in an instant. Yan Linglong saw this and said disdainfully, "Humph, you innocent boy, that is the corpse of a god, and even the coffin is a divine object. If you, a mere mortal, can collect the corpse of a god, then why should Yan Shisen and I fighting to death for this divine corpse, if I had not taken him away the moment I discovered this coffin?" When Qixing heard this, he also understood that a god-level corpse might require a divine object to take it away. Forget it, let's put it in the Tianji Tower. It's just a coffin placed there, but it always feels a bit inconsistent. Qixing was also considering whether to put it there. But before Qixing could make a decision, the system prompt sounded again. Ding! The system has detected that within 1,000 miles of the host, there are 4 powerful beings with strength above the 7th level of transcendence. They are approaching the host. The estimated arrival time is 1 minute and 57 seconds, 56 seconds, 55 seconds. Close black lens bracket. Watching the time passing by, Qixing finally remembered that the kings that Yan Shisen had just mentioned had already entered the tomb of the gods. Damn, it came so fast. What kind of speed is this? It only takes 2 minutes to reach 1,000 miles. At this moment, Qixing knew that the situation was urgent, so he no longer hesitated and directly sacrificed the Tianji Tower. Suddenly, the sky was shaking and wailing, as if the appearance of the Tianji Tower triggered some taboo. At this moment, the forest of gods kept shaking. Qixing didn't understand how the Tianji Tower could cause such a big reaction, but he couldn't control it so much now. He accepted this divine body and asked the system again when he had time. Then Qixing made a secret with one hand, and a white light shot out from the bottom of the Tianji Tower towards the coffin. Under the illumination of the white light, the coffin slowly rose into the sky and entered the 2nd floor of the Tianji Tower. Advertisement. When Yan Linglong saw the Tianji Tower sacrificed by Qixing, her eyes turned into bull's eyes, and she clucked her tongue and said, You actually have a star weapon that surpasses the god level. This is impossible. Even the 5 great kingdom lords are not qualified to own it. Qixing put the coffin into his own space in front of Yan Linglong. This made Yan Linglong, who was seriously injured, feel incredible. It's impossible, you can't have a space star weapon that surpasses the god level. But that coffin can only be accommodated by a truly super artifact. Why can you do it? However, Qixing did not pay attention to Yan Linglong. He just looked at Kagayaji and said, "Do you want to kill this woman?" Kagayaji chuckled and said, "Take him away. He is destined to me. What's more, why should a woman embarrass a woman?" When Qixing heard this, he couldn't help curling his lips. "I believe you, you are such a bad woman. Who would believe that you would simply save a dying person? It's a pity that this has nothing to do with me. Let's go. A strong man is coming. Let's go to the cemetery of the god's tomb first." Saying that, Qixing lifted Yan Linglong and flew towards the sky, with Kagayaji following closely behind. However, at some point, a sky-piercing spear suddenly flew from the horizon. With a red tail of several hundred meters, the spear was heading towards Qixing and Kagayaji. At this moment, the spear's speed reached ultimate. Even if Nanahoshi and Kagayaheim traveled through space, they were not 1/10 of the speed of the spear. The spear was about to hit Nanahoshi. Kagayaji didn't know what caused the wind, but her aura surged. She originally only had the strength of the 4th level of transcendence, but was suddenly promoted to the 6th level of transcendence by him. In an instant, his body stood in front of Qixing. Only then did Qixing hear Kagayaheim's loud shout, "God Moira Manki." I don't know what kind of hand seal Kagayaji has formed, but the light on her body keeps flashing. And the earth, which was originally a bare patch of land, had countless giant trees rising from the ground in an instant. Giant trees continue to grow wildly, forming a tangible barrier. The barriers were layered one on top of another, and at the moment when the barrier was completed, the 3-meter spear hit the barrier with a 100-meter red tail. There was a muffled bang, and the spear did not emit a gorgeous light. It just penetrated the barrier of Senluawanmu and hit Kagayaji's abdomen, directly knocking Kagayaji back tens of thousands of meters. Stopped by Qixing. At this moment, the spear did not penetrate Kagayaheim's abdomen. After all, Kagayaheim's body is the body closest to God and is not so easily destroyed. However, because the strength has not been restored and the strength is forcibly improved, Kagayaheim's current state down again. At the same time, Kagayaheim also fell into a coma. At this time, Qixing is holding Yan Linglong in his left hand and Kagayaji in his right hand. His eyes were cold. "I want to see who did it." At this moment, Rinnegan opened up, and the ultra-distance detection was activated, and the 7 stars could see everything from a distance of nearly 100 miles. At this moment, 100 miles away from Qixing, there are 4 figures flying rapidly towards the direction of Qixing. The speed is so fast that it has already broken through 100 times the sound barrier. Suddenly Shinigami's brows twitched slightly and he looked upward. There was an angry shout, "Bold, who dares to spy on the 4 gods of my pure land from hundreds of miles away and seek death?" Chapter 231. Are you serious? He may be my ancestor. When Shinigami said the word, death, the sound was like a loud bell, spreading throughout the entire forest of gods. Even Qixing, who was 100 miles away, could hear it clearly. I saw Shinigami, the old man in hiding. At the same time, he touched the center of his eyebrows with his right index finger. At this moment, his big mouth was slightly opened, and a breath of black air came out of his mouth. The black air condensed into a strange skull face in the void, and the strange face smiled weirdly. After the sound, it exploded loudly. Black smoke disappeared into the void. Jin Ran followed Qixing's gaze and found Qixing's location. Ah! A cry of pain. Qixing, who was 100 kilometers away, closed his bleeding left eye tightly, groaned, swayed twice, and then fell to the ground. But Qixing relied on his tenacity to steady his body and looked into the distance, where 4 terrifying auras were flying towards Qixing. Forget it, it seems that ordinary methods are not so easy to escape. Now there are these oil bottles. We can only release the tiger-faced eagle that transcends the 3rd level. As he spoke, a Stellar's eagle with a wingspan of more than 40 meters appeared next to Qixing. After 2 tiger roars, with Qixing's comfort, he dragged Qixing and flew towards the north. Less than 10 seconds after Qixing left, the 4 kings, Shinigami, Hades, Sun, and Evil finally arrived. The heads of the 4 kingdoms arrived at the same time and saw a pool of blood on the ground. We were a step too late. 13 died and Linglong was taken away. That guy's strength was around the 3rd level of transcendence. And my artifact, the underworld spear, was completely destroyed. Take him away. That guy's strength seems to be no match for Xiaoshu. No, it seems to be an adult tiger eagle. Its cultivation is at the 3rd level of transcendence. It seems that it cannot catch up. The speed of the transcendent tiger eagle is already on par with ours. And the owner of the tiger eagle has a very strange aura. He is only at the peak of the immortal level. How is it possible? How can a small immortal level miscellaneous fish enslave an adult tiger eagle? It is very likely that a strong man from other worlds has also come here. The aura is obviously different from the aura in the Pure Land. While the 3 were discussing the situation at the scene, Shinigami seemed to have discovered some shocking secret and exclaimed, attracting the attention of the other 3. Impossible, why do I feel the aura of the Lord of the Kingdom here? Shouldn't he be reborn every 100 years? How come he appears in the tomb of the gods at this time? The 3 of them were shocked when they heard this. Then they closed their eyes and opened them suddenly 3 seconds later. It is indeed her. He shouldn't have come back to life so quickly. Even if he did, he still wouldn't be able to leave the Forbidden Land at this moment. Could it be? What? Is his place of nirvana located in this tomb of God? Is it possible? Regardless of whether it is possible or not, her aura here is real. The four of us decided at the same time that this cannot be fake. It seems that the opening of the god's tomb this time seems to be premeditated. It is probably the work of heaven. Let's go. Without further ado, seal the way of heaven first. Then gather the strength of the four of us. Let alone the 9th level GLE, we are not afraid even of god level experts. And we have plenty of time to look for those guys later. Quote. That makes sense. Let's go. After speaking, the four figures disappeared at the same time. At this time, the 7 stars had driven the Tiger Eagle to fly for a full hour. Only then did the Tiger Eagle's flying speed slow down. Go down, Tiger Eagle. Hearing Qixing's words, the Tiger Eagle retracted its wings and instantly fell under the forest. Advertisement. With a thought, Tiger Eagle was taken into the pet space. Qixing hugged Kagayaji and put him down gently, while Yan Linglong who was holding him was thrown to the ground. Yan Linglong, who had fallen into a coma, inadvertently let out a painful groan. Qixing turned a blind eye to her delicate body, but Gigi expressed dissatisfaction. Human, why are you treating this female human like this? Isn't he attractive enough for you? Tai, you green-skinned monster, don't make trouble in the distance. After saying that, Qixing walked up to Kagayaheim and looked at the spear on Kagayaheim's belly. Frowning slightly. At this moment, the spear had no luster on its surface, as if all its power was used to suppress Kagayaji. Qixing didn't know whether he should pull this thing out. System. What should I do so as not to hurt her? Ding. Recover the underworld spear, and you can get 30,000 points. Then buy the god's creation pill, which consumes 50,000 points. This dilemma can be solved without damage. The god's creation pill also has a strong recovery ability and can heal old hidden injuries. Recover together. Isn't it too wasteful? God's creation pill, and this thing is something I don't dare to use. If she returns to her peak strength after I use it, then Jiali will definitely come out and kill me. Quote. You must not do this before you are not strong enough. System. Is there any other way? Ding. You can buy a bottle of quick recovery potion, which can restore 50% of the injured person's injuries in a short time. As for the follow-up, I will recover on my own. And it only requires 5,000 points. Close black lens bracket. You're a profiteer, why didn't you tell me earlier that you had something so cheap? Ding. Host, don't be happy too early. Close black lens bracket. These words are confusing to Qixing Yun. Qixing didn't care about him and directly bought a bottle of quick recovery potion. Ding. Congratulations to host for spending 5,000 points and getting a bottle of quick recovery potion. Please read the instructions clearly and use it correctly. Close black lens bracket. Introduction. Open the bottle cap and take it within 1 minute for the best effect. Seeing this, Qixing unscrewed the bottle cap directly. He was about to pour it into Kagayaheim's mouth, but Qixing noticed that Kagayaheim's Sakura peach mouth seemed to be locked. How can I open this damn thing? Seeing that the quick recovery potion was evaporating at a speed visible to the naked eye, Qixing had no choice but to stretch out his index finger and pry open Kagayaji's lips. But this guy's teeth are so tight. The potion dripped into Kagayaji's mouth and immediately flowed out from the corner of Kagayaji's mouth. The sight of this made Qixing's flesh hurt. This is a full 5,000 points. It's such a waste. Your uncle's system, how can you feed this thing into it? Ding. It is recommended that the host uses mouth-to-mouth feeding, so as not to cause any waste. System, are you serious about this? Damn, he is probably the ancestor of my family. Ding. From a nominal point of view, you are not related by blood. In a larger sense, your relationship between Uchiha and Otsutsuki has exceeded that of the 9th generation. You know the 1st generation, the 2nd generation, the 3rd generation and the 4th generation. What about you? I don't even know which generation it is from. Close black lens bracket. If we really count, Kagayaheim can only be regarded as the ancestor of chakra in the ninja world, but what does chakra have to do with you? Close black lens bracket. Hey, that seems to make sense. I don't G use chakra. As he spoke, Qixing was in a good mood, as if he had found a good reason for himself, and took a sip of the quick recovery potion. He kissed Kagayaheim on the lips. This time, the quick recovery potion did not leak at all. Chapter 232 Death Tomb Abyss. Just when Qixing was figuring out what was going on here, Kagayaji finally successfully absorbed the potion. It took just a few breaths for the potion to take effect. At this time, Kagaya opened her beautiful eyes. Look at the 7 stars in front of you. Asked strangely. Kid, I was so seriously injured, how could I wake up so soon? Are you wasting another panacea to treat me? Qixing waved his hand. There is no panacea, just some pretty good recovery potions. By the way, why did you block that attack for me? You know very well that there is a 50% chance that you will be knocked out of your wits by that blow. Oh, you little brat is very interesting. I am still controlled by others anyway, whether it is you or Otsutsuki Jili. Any one of you can control me to death, and your talent is terrifyingly strong. If you grow up, you may be able to control me again. He is the next Kamashi-sama. I have no reason not to protect the descendants of my clan, so I hope you live. Quote. Oh, thank you very much. By the way, Kid, what kind of elixir did you give me? Not only did it work perfectly, I also felt a slight sweetness in my mouth. Well, Qixing is very confused at the moment. He can't just say that he ate my saliva for you. Childish and naive said perfunctorily. Haha, it's nothing, just some very ordinary pills. Don't think too much about it. After the words fell, Qixing saw Kagayaji sticking out her tongue and licking her lips, smacking her lips, and nodded. Although I don't know the efficacy of this potion, it is definitely not an ordinary potion, and this potion also has a faint refreshing smell. Sweet. At this moment, Qixing's head was pounding and his heart was beating loudly. He turned his head and stopped looking at Kagayaji. What the hell is wrong with me? Although he is very beautiful, but, stop thinking about it, stop thinking about it. At this time, Kagayaji saw that Qixing was not paying attention to her, so she didn't think much, and just waved to the front. In an instant, Gigi ran to Kagayaji's shoulder and whispered in Kagaya's ear for a while, only to see Kagaya the blush on Ji's face disappeared for a moment. Then he coughed slightly. Kid, my injuries are almost healed. It's time to go to the cemetery. After hearing this, Qixing turned his head and looked at Kagayaji. No, you have only recovered 50%. Don't be rash. I'm afraid there will be more strong people there. And I also want to take some time to see if the key to transcendence can help me absorb the power of the divine corpse and help me break through the realm of transcendence. You kid, you want to break through to the realm of transcendence so quickly. You are really not afraid of your foundation being unstable. Qixing shook his head. I have a special physique, so I don't need to worry about that. Even if you have a special physique, the key to transcendence can only be used once. Even if you don't break through this time, the thing will disappear. Moreover, I saw the divine corpse. It was seriously injured. The remaining divine power was even more damaged by that time. The explosion destroyed 788. You have just broken through to the peak of the immortal level, and your body strength is rising steadily. This divine corpse with only residual divine power is not enough for you to break through. And your potential is huge, so there's no need to be so eager to break through. Advertisement. It's better to find another divine corpse with sufficient power, or a divine power crystal. Otherwise, there is no hope in wasting this key to transcendence and trying to break through transcendence in a short time. After hearing Kagayaji's analysis, Qixing could only agree. All right. Then we will recover here for an hour first, and then set off to search for the corpse of the god while heading to the tomb of the god cemetery. Good. As they spoke, the two sat cross-legged opposite each other. Closed his eyes. Only Yan Linglong, who was still pretending to be unconscious, was left lying messy in the wind. At this moment, Yan Linglong's heart was filled with 10,000 horses galloping, but she was muttering in a low voice, what a couple. At the same time, the four kings of the four kingdoms, Yongshen, Hades, Shinigami, and Evil God, after an hour of full flight and spanning tens of thousands of kilometers, finally arrived at the edge of the tomb of the gods, which is also the very edge of this secret realm. I saw chaos ahead, with ripples in the chaos rippling like water waves. The four of them approached the waves and put their left hands into the waves at the same time. The water waves circulated around the four people before returning again. When they saw the water wave returning, the four of them formed strange handprints on their right hands at the same time. The moment the hand seals were completed, a four-pointed star connected the four people. In just a moment, the four of them seemed to have completed some ritual. The water waves in front of the four people slowly parted like a door. What lies within the chaos is revealed. I saw that there was another world inside the gate. The end of this world could be seen, and it probably only had a radius of less than 10 kilometers. It's just that there is no light in this world, and the earth is cracked, like a doomsday scene. Just listen to Shinigami sigh. Every time I see this fragmented world, I can feel the scars left by the powerful men who have fought here. I am afraid that even after 10,000 years, there will be no trace of the earth here. Recovery. Yes, but I believe that we will have a chance to become that kind of strong person. Maybe. Let's not talk about this for now, it is more important to complete the task first. Walk. Taking the exit, four people entered it at the same time. Then the chaotic water rippled and the door was immediately closed. But as soon as they entered this fragmented world, the four people's entire bodies were blocked by a shocking force. Even if they want to fly in the sky, they can't do it, but the four of them are also experienced experts and there are always ways to deal with this embarrassment. And the space here is like a cage. This is also the place where the four kings sealed the way of heaven. This place is called the Abyss of the Dead Tomb. Legend has it that the other entrance to the Death Tomb Abyss is in a forbidden area in the cemetery of the gods. Unfortunately, although many people know that the forbidden area is located behind the mountain behind the cemetery. But it is shrouded in black mist all year round. Only gods with divine power can pass through the fog. And those black fogs have very terrifying corrosive power, and no one who enters them ever comes out again. At this moment, the four kings stood at the entrance of the Death Tomb Abyss, looking at the bare mountain in front of them, with a smile on their lips. Shinigami was the first to speak. Let's go, guys. Let's go see how Tiandao is doing. As he spoke, Shinigami took out an ink-colored jade talisman, raised his feet, and walked towards the bare mountain. Then the evil god, the sun god, and the underworld god all took out an ink-colored jade talisman at the same time and pinched it. It shattered, and then a black light enveloped the four people, and the aura of transcendence of the 7th level and even the 8th level of the four people returned instantly. At this time, the black mist released from the jade pendants of the four kings was exactly the same as the black mist in the forbidden area behind the tomb of the gods. It's possible that the four have cracked the mystery of the mist. Chapter 233 The Four Great Lords Seal the Way of Heaven. At this time, four people covered in black mist were walking quickly on the charred land, aiming at the mountain peak ahead. The four of them moved at a strange speed. In just a few breaths, they had already reached the halfway point of the mountain. At this moment, Shinigami stopped moving forward, and the three people behind him also stopped. The four of them once again worked together to form a strange seal. The next moment, there was a rumble on the mountainside, and then a stone door in front of the four of them was slowly opened. A dark cave was revealed. Shinigami walked in first, followed by the other three. After the four of them entered the cave and walked in the darkness for a quarter of an hour, Shinigami took out 99 luminous spiritual stones from the storage space. The stones instantly separated from Shinigami's right hand and automatically flew to the place where they should exist, as if there was something there. It's like something pulling a stone. When the 99 luminous stones are in place, the space emits bright light, as bright and yellow as day. At this moment, the scene in the cave is also unobstructed. As soon as I saw it, I saw that inside the huge cave, there were 5 attributes of energy, transformed into small dragons, wandering around. On the edge of the cave, there are 5 strange stone pillars, which are emitting a shimmer. The shimmer is reflected on the wall. On the mountain wall, countless chains formed by tadpole characters are derived from the ground and quickly climb throughout the cave. The center of the cave. The next moment, a round transparent ball suddenly emerged from the center of the cave. A small crack appeared on the ball, and the crack was covered with countless tadpoles in Sanskrit. The Sanskrit words were lifelike, starting from the crack and wandering around the transparent sphere. Looking inside the sphere, a cloud is rushing left and right. The sphere clicked. The tadpole Sanskrit that wraps the sphere has been disconnected in several places. When the four of them saw this, they broke out in a cold sweat. Their bodies flashed rapidly in 4 directions, surrounding the ball. At this moment, the four of them took out all the power stones they had collected over the years without any scruples. Push a 10-meter hill out of the ground. Then the four people's hands quickly formed strange seals. A strange formation suddenly appeared on the ground. The formation rapidly spread outwards and enveloped the entire interior of the cave. At the same time, all the divine power stones 10 meters high on the ground were absorbed. All of them were returned to the four people, and suddenly the four people emitted a dazzling white light. White light shoots into the transparent sphere at the same time. At this moment, a terrifying roar came from inside the ball. Assholes, you 4 white-eyed wolves, you promised to help me grow up, but you betrayed me and wanted to replace me and become the way of heaven. Dream, as long as I don't die, you will never be able to replace me. Ha ha ha, now you can't even erase my existence, you can only seal me. Hole, as long as I go out, you will die. The four of them also heard the voice from Tiandao, but no one paid attention to him. They just output the terrifying energy to a greater extent. These divine powers were originally unable to be driven by the four people's transcendent 7th level and 8th level strength, but the four of them did not know where they found the God Control Sky Array. This formation requires 4 guys who are above the 6th level to push it forward with all their strength. After activation, the formation will absorb the surrounding divine power and deny it to the caster. At this time, the caster can control the divine power in a short period of time and use it flexibly. The time of manipulation is related to the number of divine power stones. And just now the 4 people took out nearly 10,000 divine power stones, which can flexibly use their divine power for as much as 30 seconds. Advertisement. Although the value of 30 seconds is very small, it has reached the level of transcendence above the 7th level. 1 second of divine power can change the outcome of a large war. Unfortunately, this formation is difficult to set up, and the formation cannot be moved. This is also the biggest drawback of the God Control Sky Array. Looking at this moment, the energy on the transparent ball has gathered more and more, and finally the white light has wrapped the transparent ball, and the black tadpole Sanskrit on the ground has been connected together at the broken places, and is wrapped around the transparent ball again. An angry roar erupted from inside the ball. Assholes, you're going to die. But the sound became thinner and thinner, and eventually disappeared. The cracks on the transparent ball and the broken tadpole Sanskrit were finally repaired. At this moment, the 4 of them breathed a long sigh of relief. I finally successfully solved this guy. This time I can seal him for at least 100 years. As for 100 years from now, I think I will have a way to break through the realm by then. The other 3 were shocked when they heard Shinigami say this. This guy's strength has improved a lot. Okay, everyone, we should also go to the God's Tomb Cemetery to see how many divine corpses those guys have found. These divine corpses are the key to our breakthrough to the God level. We can't let those trash take them away. After saying that, Shinigami walked out of the cave first. The 3 of them looked at each other and followed closely. On the other side, Nanahoshi and Kagayaji have already set off, searching for the scattered corpses of the gods while rushing to the God's Tomb Cemetery. I saw Qixing holding his balls in his left hand, Rinnegan opened, and his eyes scanned all suspicious things within 100 miles. Hokage was sitting on the head of Tiger Eagle, taking care of Yan Linglong who was seriously injured and on the verge of death. Qixing also doesn't know what Hokage has in mind. Of course he would be interested in such a woman. Suddenly, Qixing noticed something and immediately called Tiger Eagle to slow down and land in the forest. And in front of and to the left of Qixing, 50 kilometers away, a battle was going on. The two sides in the battle were Long Wushan, whom Qixing was familiar with, and the 7 blood guards of the evil god. On the battlefield, the 7 blood guards cooperated tacitly, and their auras all reached the first level of transcendence. I don't know what secret method was used. But the weirdest thing is that even if one of them had his head cut off by Long Wushan, the other blood guard instantly installed his fallen head, and this person actually continued to fight intact. These unkillable blood guards cannot be easily dealt with by even a third-level transcendent existence like Long Wushan. He could only stop 4 people with difficulty. But the current situation of Longshe Zanji is not as good as Long Wushan. There were blood stains all over the body of Dragon Blood Warrior. One of the blood guards licked his tongue and performed a joint killing ceremony on Dragon Blood Warrior. As long as the ritual is established, no matter how injured this guy is, the injuries will be instantly transferred to the target of the ritual. But Dragon Blood Warrior G is also a veteran powerhouse who has transcended the second level, and has dealt with Blood Guard countless times. Already know these guys' weaknesses. I saw the Dragon Blood War Princess, spitting out a strange cicada swarm from her small mouth. After Yongyu escaped from its mouth, it immediately turned into a small insect. As if the insect knew its mission, it flew to the top of the blood guard's head who was performing the ritual of killing together, like a moth to a flame. Chapter 234 The Second Divine Corpse. At this time, the blood guard was performing a joint killing ritual. The ritual was halfway through and could not be stopped midway, otherwise it would be backfired. But how could the rest of the blood guards allow this little bug to get close? They would immediately take action to suppress it. I saw one of the blood guards, his big hand like a cattail leaf fan falling down, and a strong wind blew up in an instant. It directly knocked down the surrounding trees. The little bug that flew in alone was very strange. No matter how the strong wind roared around it, it could not cause any harm to the bug at all. At this moment, this little bug is extremely fast and seems to exist in another space. In just a few blinks of an eye, he had already flown to the top of the blood guard who was performing the ritual of killing together. It was too late for the remaining blood guards to come to their aid. The next moment, the blood guard who performed the ritual felt something lying on top of his head, and his body was out of control and stopped the operation of the ritual. With a pop, a mouthful of blood spit out from his mouth. This is the price of abruptly stopping a ritual. But it's not over yet. This little insect is extremely magical. He controls this blood guard and performs a co-killing ritual on his teammates. Seeing this situation, the 2 blood guards were stunned for a few seconds before Dragon Blood Warrior found an opportunity. A strange energy was seen all over Zanji's body, bursting out from her body, forming a black magic knife on her hands. The magic knife slashed at the 2 blood guards, and before they could reach their defense, the 2 of them were separated from each other. But in this way, the 2 blood guards did not die. The head was still struggling on the ground, slowly approaching the body. And without anyone stopping him, the controlled blood guard finally succeeded in performing a co-killing ritual on his teammates. It was at this time that the controlled blood guard began an extremely cruel pattern of self-mutilation. I don't know when, but 9 daggers appeared in the hands of this blood guard. 8 daggers were inserted into his vital parts in succession. The positions of the 8 daggers were extremely particular, as they were all used to maximize the body's energy. Important joints. It is obvious that Dragon Blood Warrior G also has a deep research on acupuncture points. And when the last dagger was inserted into his heart, the blood guard fell to his knees directly, his soul power stopped functioning, and blood began to flow from his 7 orifices. The other blood guard who was subjected to the co-killing ritual also had the same symptoms. Situation. The acupuncture points in the 2 blood guards' bodies were sealed at this time, and their energy was stagnant. At this moment, the 2 guys immediately lost their combat effectiveness. At this time, the 3 blood guards who attacked the Dragon Blood War Princess were killed directly. As for the third person, because no one was there to help him put his head on, many of his abilities could not be used. He could only be torn into pieces by Dragon Blood Warrior and sealed in a gourd. Seeing this scene, Dragon Blood Warrior G said proudly, I have already solved 3 of Wushan, do you need help? Long Wushan was a little surprised when he saw Zanji solving 2 people and sealing 1 person so easily. When did these guys get solved so easily? Suddenly Long Wushan seemed to think of something. Shocked. Zanji, you are crazy, you used one of those 2 soul-forbidden insects. What about our mission? To be honest, that mission can be completed with the strength of you and me. That kid's early-stage immortal level strength, even if he has strength-enhancing elixirs and techniques, he can't be your opponent. You said woolen cloth. HMPH, you'd better not underestimate him. Even the Shinigami clone has suffered at his hands. Haha, since when did you start to like to enhance other people's ambitions and destroy your own prestige? Advertisement. Okay, stop talking about this, come and help me deal with these guys. New. With that said, Dragon Blood Warrior also joined the battlefield. The two of them just touched their palms lightly, and the next moment, Long Aowushan's energy from the battle was restored to its original state. Seeing this, the Blood Guard's expression changed slightly. As expected, these two guys also possess powerful shared formations. What should I do? Second brother, Lao 7, Lao 8, and Lao 9 have been sealed. I'm afraid the four of us are not these two. This guy's opponent. There is nothing we can do if we are not opponents. We must wait until the commander arrives, otherwise the body in the coffin will be handed over to others. That's the divine corpse designated by Lord Evil God. It took a lot of effort to find it. If you hold on for another half-quarter of an hour, I have already informed Commander Xing. He will be here in just 5 minutes. But Long Aowushan had already discovered that this guy was using the communication talisman. After looking at each other with Dragon Blood Warrior, the palms of his hands were pressed together, and two strands of Tai Chi energy appeared above their heads in the form of yin and yang 8 trigrams. Covering a kilometer radius. Seeing this, the Blood Guard exclaimed, as expected, these two guys can also use combined techniques. At this time, only Long Aowushan and Long Shizanji were heard shouting 4 words at the same time. Wuji, hundreds of flowers are dancing. The next moment, the black and white 8 trigrams array showed thousands of brilliance, and in the space surrounded by the 8 trigrams array, countless dense auras appeared. The moment the 4 Blood Guards saw this shimmering light, their eyes began to glaze over, and they looked relieved. I guess it was some kind of illusion or something. Looking at the two people working together to cast the illusion, half kneeling on the ground and breathing heavily at the same time, it is obvious that this kind of ability is a bit too much even if the two people work together. Dragon Blood Warrior looked at Long Aowushan and said angrily, if we had used the soul forbidden bugs, we would have left with the coffins long ago. There is no need to risk our lives here to regain our strength. You are still not satisfied after using one. It is impossible to use the last soul forbidden insect on these 4 people. It would be a waste. And do you really think that kid is so simple that he can escape from the ninja world without any awareness? The fact that he came to the Pure Land is enough to show that his methods reach the heavens. And you should know what it means to be a soul favored by Shinigami.
Okay, I know I won't talk about this anymore. At this moment, the two of them were breathing heavily, sitting cross-legged back to back, just in case. The moment they closed their eyes, a crisp round of applause appeared in their ears. Wonderful. It's wonderful. He is worthy of being the second of the 3 great generals under Shinigami. Whether it is physical skills or illusions, he is second to none. But you are unlucky. Even if you snatch the divine corpse, you won't be able to take it away, and I can only help you keep it.
As he spoke, Qixing walked to the coffin as if there was no one around, stretched out his right hand, and struggled to lift the lid of the coffin. He saw a pale old man lying inside. The old man's face was white and his whole body was as thin as wood. Even the sheen of divine power emanating from the whole body is vaguely absent. Obviously, this divine corpse died much longer ago, and after all, it cannot escape the erosion of time. But the strange thing is that there is a strange power in the dantian of this god's corpse, as if it has magic power, leading people to want to explore. Chapter 235, Collecting the Divine Corpse. Egg Evolution. At this moment, Qixing's eyes were staring at the old man's dantian. This time, he was not confused by anything, nor was he under any illusion, but Qixing was prompted by the system. In the old man's dantian, there was actually a witchcraft insect that had lived for 10,000 years. I guess this is one of the reasons why the evil god wanted to get this corpse. There was also a funerary object in the coffin, which was a strange basin with hollow patterns extending in all directions, making it look extremely exquisite. Just as Qixing was about to take it with his hands, Long Aowushan behind him shouted loudly. Stop, kid, that corpse is the divine body of the poison god. Don't touch anything in the coffin with your hands, otherwise you won't even know how to die. Hearing that this was the corpse of the 10,000 poison Gu god, Qixing was startled and took advantage of the situation to withdraw his half-stretched palm. But an accident happened at this time. When Qixing withdrew his palm, a stream of blue-black smoke followed Qixing's palm. At the moment when the smoke was only 0.01 millimeters away from Qixing, Qixing's whole body was shaken. At this moment, the smoke could not touch Qixing no matter what. Fingers. Although the distance between the two seems to be 0 to the naked eye, in fact, within the realm of 7 stars, the two are already thousands of miles apart. Seeing that the attack was ineffective, the blue-black gas immediately wanted to withdraw into the divine body. But how could Qixing allow this blue-black gas to escape? Just listen to Qixing shout loudly, thunder is coming. Suddenly a thunder and lightning with a thick arm suddenly hit the old man's dantian in the sky. At this time, a baby's cry sounded in everyone's ears. And everyone who heard the baby's cry felt as if someone had forced something into their brains, causing extreme pain. Long Aowushan and Long Shizanji were even tortured by the pain and grimaced. On the other hand, Keigaiji was safe and sound at this time, and Yan Linglong, who had woken up next to Keigaiji, seemed not to have heard the harsh sound. Although Qixing was curious about who could block this invisible sound wave, this was not the time to explore this. The 7-star ninja had a headache and continued to increase the output of thunder and lightning. Finally, the baby's cry disappeared, and instead an old voice echoed in Qixing's ears. Looking at the old man in the coffin, he has stood up from lying down. The originally spotless white gown on his body has now turned into jet black. The corpse of the old man with his eyes closed could only be heard speaking. Boy, you win, I can't F asterisk 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 G stand up to you. You can take my body, but I hope you can cast the 7 colorful poison GU, otherwise you won't be able to take even a hair on my divine body. Qixing heard this and frowned in confusion. Who are you? Haha, does it matter who I am? I am just a remnant soul who has died 10,000 years. It is my blessing that I am not known by the world. Boy, please accept your magical powers. After hearing the old man's words, Qixing immediately put away his domain and cancelled the thunder method. Just to see what tricks the old man wants to play. Sure enough, the old man was overjoyed when he saw Qixing being so careless. He is as naive as a kid. After saying that, a fist-sized colorful GU worm flew out of the old man's dantian and headed straight for Qixing's door. Qixing had known that the old man would be like this. He directly raised the sleeping egg on top of his head, upgraded colorful element-devouring beast, the descendant of Teodi and Qilin, in front of his face. When the 7-colored GU worm saw this guy with the same 7 colors as himself, he suddenly became frightened and wanted to retreat and dodge, but his forward momentum was too fast and it was too late. Advertisement. At this moment Qixing moved Dandan's big mouth away. Half of the face is a mouth, the colorful GU worm flew directly into it. Then Qixing closed Dandan's big mouth. At this moment, Dandan was in a daze, feeling like something delicious was running around in his mouth. Then he licked his lips, as if opening his mouth to yawn. Suddenly Dandan woke up and immediately covered his big mouth. Well, the master gave Dandan something delicious to eat today. It tastes very good. Qixing laughed when he heard this. As long as you like it. After hearing this, Dandan chewed it for a few times, and the GU worm was swallowed by Dandan. Master, the food you just ate was too energy rich, and Dandan may fall into a deep sleep again. It's okay, go to sleep. The master will take good care of you. Once there is something delicious, it will be delivered to your mouth. Thank you master, Dandan is asleep. As he spoke, Dandan didn't know when he had already run to Qixing's head. At this time, Dandan's whole body was exuding a dense divine light, which seemed to be evolving. Sure enough, after checking the system, Dandan's status was clear at a glance. Target. Dandan Uchiha Qixing's exclusive divine pet. Combat strength. Late 6 paths, continuously evolving. Talent. Devour, can swallow all kinds of energy and all kinds of spells. Ability. Infinite growth, there is no bottleneck before breaking through to the god level. As long as there is enough energy. Attributes. All attributes. Status. Gained the power of evolution by eating the colorful poisonous poison, and is evolving from the juvenile stage to the growth stage. Seeing this, Qixing had a chrysanthemum-like smile on his face. At this time, the weak remnant soul in the divine corpse was still hoping that his 7-color poisonous GU could create a miracle. However, it was not until the energy of the divine corpse's poisonous GU worm was extinguished that he knew that he had been defeated again. Can only roar unwillingly at this moment. I thought that I, the god of all poisons, had dominated all the worlds for thousands of years, but I didn't expect that I would eventually end up with no bones left. It's really a good reincarnation. Boy, that GU worm was the divine GU that I used my body to warm and nourish 10,000 years. I didn't expect that even so, I couldn't take over your body. It was my miscalculation. Anyway, I survived for nearly 10,000 years, almost 10,000 years dead, that's enough, my remnant soul is about to dissipate. Can you tell me your name? Uchiha Qixing. Ha ha ha, a strange name, but I remember it. A mere immortal level peak can actually influence the will of God. It seems that he is another powerful reincarnation. The next transit world will be even more exciting. It's a pity that I can't see it anymore. After saying this, the weak remnant soul of the all-poison god finally turned into smoke and dissipated in the void. And Qixing didn't pity the all-poison god. A sinister and strong man like him must have reached the top by riding on mountains of corpses and seas of blood. He will never show any mercy to anyone, and this is something Qixing needs to learn from. Thinking of this, Qixing directly sacrificed his Tianji tower. Just a flash of white light, and the coffin was put into the Tianji tower by Qixing. As for Long Aowushan and Long Shizanji, they almost dropped their jaws when they saw Qixing collecting the divine corpse.